Yeah, see, I'm such an incredible novice about this. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome in. I'm Michael, Destro Designs. We are live from Viper Den Studios. Joining us this week is my brother Laser Pants from the 3POA podcast. Everybody give him a round of applause for sure. Welcome in, my brother. How are you? And also with us tonight is CG Horror joining us. He's been on a lot lately. He's been super helpful with my lack of ability, right? He knows how to share his screen. He gets a bunch of stuff up there, and and it really helps out. Full confession. So I think it was last week or the week before, both CG and I off screen had your Saturday show on while we were podcasting. So I know CG's a big fan of Ethan. Of like, remember his Ethan Van Scriven, I think is his last name. Scribe, sorry, pardon me. I knew I was going to mess that up. But yeah, no, it was. It's always cool, and I actually was watching Wednesday, which I think was an incredibly great show. That's the first time I had ever seen a show with Ace from Ramen Toys. That was excellent. But what really got me on there is, I had known this, but seeing that young gentleman from Vietnam, Bao Long, receive those gifts, and like you were saying over there, when receiving a gift, you don't go crazy. Actually, you keep a nice straight face. But you could see, going in with that in mind and watching him, you could see it was starting to crack out a little bit. Motherfucker wanted to smile. He definitely did, especially when you handed him that laptop. He looked at that thing like a side of beef. It was gorgeous. So I just wanted to say I applaud that what you guys did for that young man. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Well, thanks, man. That was all my wife and her planning, and her brother lives there, so he knows that family. And so they did all the legwork, and Ace did all the work flying out there, and then everyone that donated. So
nice. That's fantastic.
It was really cool, man. So hopefully he continues on and becomes like the next generation of artists.
How great would that be? How great would that be? Yeah, for sure. So a lot of what in the past year of all this, that I've started the podcast, and we have this wonderful community over there on Twitter, and that was kind of came together over giving and helping each other, right? So the actual core of what you were doing, I thought was just it's a great message. It's the world is on fire. So when you have, an example where there's how many week after week where people, seeing you guys being generous, that one night, I think Bobby Val donated like $500 live, just stuff like that, right? People see that and it inspires them to go out and do good. And it's like, there's a lot of people out there that are changing the world for the worse just because they're fucking assholes. And so to combat that legitimately, and just to combat that, we, the nice guys have to show up and do shit like this to counteract all that. You turn on, God forbid you turn on the TV and watch for 2 seconds, you know what I mean? So stuff like this, I take very seriously. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Something else I kind of take seriously too is, I think I might've said it to you in one of the message, when, time is the most valuable commodity that we have, right? So when somebody takes the time to come on the show, I really take that on a serious level too. So thank you so much for joining us. Same goes to CG.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. How about that? The one thing that I walked away from the show the other night was Ace talking about the F-14 is 47 3/4 inches long. I laughed out loud when he said it in the metrics, and in my head I was like, oh damn, I don't know what that is. I know that's more than 3 feet though, I think. And 47
it was 1.2 meters long, or basically 48 inches, so 4 feet, which is insane. It's cool if anyone can fit that in their house. I sure as hell can't, but it would be cool.
I mean, I feel like it definitely sounds like one of those things, like a night raven, right? So I don't know if you saw my brother GI Customs. He's on Instagram, Facebook, and now on YouTube. Very, very good. He made a night raven for a member of our community, and guess how big that was?
48, 60,
5.5 feet, brother.
Damn.
66 inches long. Like, what the fuck?
That's awesome. I mean, it's awesome, but it's just too big for my space.
And how can you even, I know this, right? So CG down here printed this and sent this to me. This is just the drone. And look at how, it's an absolutely gorgeous, stunning piece. Everything about it is great. He's got
that's nice, man. Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh no, he did a great job. The tinted windshield and everything. It's the only crime is I've only been able to do like one photo shoot with it, and it wasn't even at what
that doesn't even look 3D printed. That looks like
Oh, no.
production quality. It looks
No.
amazing.
You are correct.
That's probably like one of my best prints I've ever done.
Really good. Wow.
Also, he sent me 4 things all together. I'll show you this one too.
Oh, cool.
This is pretty. Actually, here's one thing we can actually use the stupid layout change for. Right here. There we go. So there. It's pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
Yep. Yeah. So thank you again, CG. There was a mountain howitzer and an armadillo too that he gave me in that group of things, which is quite the impressive care package, brother. I'm still wowed by that. Yeah. So I couldn't believe that when he said it. I actually laughed out loud. I was like, for what? 47 3/4 inches. I can't believe it. So still, that is just, because where do you put that? Like, I had to take my entire Python Patrol group, which is like 60 figures, off of the shelf to make room for the Rattler, because you got to have the Rattler out here, right? And then now I got the Dragonfly from my same brother, Dan Salsato, found these amazing prices of this stuff on Facebook down in Florida, and he was nice enough to buy it and send it. Dragonfly was only $250. He got me the Rattler, I think might have been his figureless, but he found the Rattler Baroness and the Wild Weasel for $135 for the pair. Like, that's how you have to find those deals, because those are like $150 a piece, I think, for the most part.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's an absolutely huge thing. And so that's the Wednesday show, Midweek Mayhem, 9 p.m. Eastern. Right? Yep. 9 p.m. Eastern? All right, nice, very good. And then the Saturday show you do, is Bobby on with you every Saturday, right? I feel like every time I tune in, he's on.
So he's like, me and him started the show together. So
okay.
He's not on every Saturday, but I'd say at least half, just because of his schedule, And we used to only do like 2 shows a month, like every other Saturday.
Okay.
But as the channel grew, I just started going every weekend, whether he was there or not.
That's what's up. I love it. I feel it's like, there was a lot of prequel type questions about, your podcast and everything when we were on Destro as my spirit animal. So I'll try not to browbeat you with the same history lesson, but
I don't mind. You can ask me whatever, man.
Nice. Well, it was interesting. The one thing you said, maybe if you want to talk about it for a second, is, one thing that you had said too, is that when you were young, you loved media. Like, you loved shows like this. You mentioned Howard Stern and a few other of things that kind of were inspirational to you. And I thought that was awesome. And I immediately identified with what you were saying, not just in myself, but like I was able to look back at the shows that I had seen of you. It's like, oh yeah, you can tell. You can tell that there is a influence from shows like that, right? What were some of the other shows that you named? Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up. There was a lot of local, like, Seattle radio shows, but like the national shows I liked. Like when Loveline came out, I saw the MTV show of Loveline first, and then realized, this is a radio show. And then I found the radio show, which was syndicated, and that was one of my favorites, man. Like, I loved Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew's dynamic. Yeah. They had crazy guests. The whole Saturday, or not Saturday, but the whole like weekday morning shock jock radio stuff. It was big in the 90s because everyone was copying Howard Stern. Yeah. So there just a lot of that stuff. There was this guy in Seattle called T-Man. He had the T-Man show, and he went for 14 years. He ended in 2009. But he was probably my favorite show ever. Like, he was great. And he was kind of like a diet Howard Stern type of thing,
Yeah,
especially being in Seattle, he couldn't get away with stuff that like Howard Stern would do.
For sure.
Seattle's so liberal.
Yeah.
But
nice.
Yeah, that was. I always wanted to do that when I was little. I'd record myself on this little 4-track recorder. I'd like record a radio show, And so
that's freaking awesome. That is totally awesome. I remember when my grandparents bought, first camcorder. It was like the big shoulder mount, almost looks like a missile launcher, right? And I remember they were very liberal with letting me take that to do shit when I was a kid. Like, I was like 13, and I went to go. There was some older kids I knew that were in a band, and I was like, and they were talking about they were playing a show at this legendary place up here where I live. I always had an awesome music scene up here, and I was like, I can videotape that. My grandparents will give me the camcorder, and I did. That VHS tape still is, like, there are copies of it on discs. The information is floating around somewhere, but yeah, that was my grandparents were cool like that. Looking back, I can remember them as I'm telling them this thing that I'm interested in and I want to do it, I can remember them being like, well, okay, even though they may not, think it's the best idea, they were allowing me to make a mistake. That's how you got to let kids grow, right? You got to let them do the thing.
Do the thing. Yep.
Yeah. And even though, obviously you don't let them hurt themselves, but like, if they're like, you want to wear that shirt, there you go. You're going to figure it out one way or the other. Like, so the house.
But don't we like learn more by hurting ourselves?
Absolutely.
In whatever we're doing,
Oh, that statement is beyond reproach. Like it is, there is no denying that whatsoever. It's almost like there's so many things about life that are in that same vein. Like how in the movie Inception, they're trying to plant that idea into Cillian Murphy's mind, right? The guy who owned the company they wanted, and how they talk about, they're like, no, he has to absolutely think that was his own idea in order for that scheme to work. That was the core of it. And that's what it's like raising kids is you pointing the finger and telling them that this is a thing makes them inherently not want to do the thing, right? So you have to kind of be like, instead of telling them what they did wrong, you just kind of offer what could have been done differently, because then you're killing two birds with one stone. You're not shaming them for what they thought was the right idea, but then you're also saying, hey man, here's like a solution that I think might help, that sort of thing. When I started doing that with my kids, I found they were much more responsive, like to what I had to say.
Sure.
I'm very helicopter parent-ish a little bit, and like I get very nervous about certain things. And now they're at an age. I have twin daughters. They're 11, and so now they're at a point where they are right in that where they still have toys, but they're also very much worried about the clothes that they're wearing and how their hair looks, and they're right in that limbo area between the two, which I remember vividly. That's when G.I. Joe ended for me. It was a very strange time, because you still I love these G.I. Joes, but I have this girlfriend that I'm making out with now, and I don't think she likes the G.I. Joes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And choices get made. I played the big three sports, and I ran track my first year in high school. So it was like I was constantly doing something, which I still don't understand how I did all that. It was, I guess when you're, now my old body, so I'm a contractor, and I'm still out there doing all the work myself. And so I know how my body feels now. And then looking back at continuously playing a sport, basically 5 days a week for 365 days a year, how did my body do it? It's like, well, you were young.
Yep. Now you sleep wrong and you throw your neck out,
Oh, holy Christ. Oh, dude, I've talked about this a couple times. I can't even really drink booze. I have like a couple sips, and it's like 3 days later, I'm still waving it off. I'm like, my head is, I feel, my doctor said I think I might have developed some kind of an allergy to it of some kind, because it was really like horrific.
Maybe, but the hangovers get way worse after 30, and then after 40, they get way worse.
Yep.
Yes.
Even doing like one of these, because we've gone for like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, yes.
The next day, I feel like I've drank all night long. Like
That's
I'm just
true.
wasted.
He's correct. I do believe we actually had that discussion, whatever it was, a couple episodes ago. And don't worry, we're not going to have you here for 5 hours, brother. Don't worry.
Okay.
But no, that's literally what it was. I remember I woke up the next day and I was like, oh my God, I'm hungover without all the good parts of having a night out till 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it is at that age, for sure. And so how long ago when did you actually start the 3POA podcast? Was it always called that?
Well, me and Bobby were on a different show called Infinity Equation. We joined that show in early 2020. I joined that show like a month before the pandemic, because I knew one of the hosts, and he asked if I wanted to join him. I said sure. And then we had Bobby on as a guest like a month or two later, and he had mentioned that he had wanted to start like some sort of YouTube thing or a podcast, and so the host of that show, Infinity Equation, invited him to be a co-host, and he said yes. And so me and Bobby did that show for about 2 years, and then we broke off and started 3POA in November of 2021 with Tony from Analog Toys.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and so we've been going since November 2021. And Tony left the show about a year in, I think.
So the name three POA had something to do with you three guys, right?
It was the
is
three
it?
of us. Three points of articulation. Yeah.
That's right. You know how hard I tried to remember that today when I was making show notes? I remember you said it. Like, again, something else with age, the RAM gets chock full. And so it's almost like you can see it happening when somebody is saying something to you, and I can feel the information going twing, twing, twang, like right off my forehead, not getting in there. I'm like, I heard you say what your name was, brother, but I'm never going to remember that.
Yeah.
Next time we see each other, I will remember your face, but I will just be like, hey, man, what's up? I don't know what your name is, which is, if I had $1 for every time I said that, I would be disgustingly rich. Let me see who is in. Oh, geez, we're popping off in the chat. GI Dave Productions, my brother GI Dave in the house. What's up, my dude? Recently scored. Did a drive. Did you put that? You know what? I don't know if you put that on the timeline. I'm not going to say that. Sorry. He told me something in a private text, and I don't know if he told anybody. Better not say that. Okay. My brother Paul Morales at the Toy Chamber in the house, doing God's work, always letting us know who's new. Paul does he says hello to everybody when they come in the chat. So if I'm having a conversation, I can just wandering eye down, and if I see Paul pop up, he'll be welcoming someone in. It's really helpful, to be honest with you. Yep, the MC himself for sure. Ortizio in the house. What's up? Thank you, my brother. MOS Mind Custom.Design. So my brother Matt from MOS Mind, tonight we are going to be talking about like third-party stuff. I'm interested to know your take and stuff that you have. And when we get to that, I am actually, for everybody in the chat, I am going to be dropping brand new line of stuff from MOS Mind. So right now, everybody knows Matt from MOS Mind creates big, huge honkers like the Atlas. We have all the play sets like the Outpost and the Bar. Everybody loved the Oracle, the color changing Oracle. They're all, staples. People, how big that is. People order the hell out of that thing because it's freaking awesome. But anyway, he is diversifying his bonds, as the RZA would say, and he is getting a whole new line of stuff that's a little bit more budget friendly. And I think everybody is going to be pretty stoked about that. So I'm going to feel special. CG is going to be able to show pictures and everything. My brother Dreadnought Ellis is in the house. Welcome in. Son of GTO, welcome in, my dude. Stu for Lunch, what's up? Thank you for coming, my brother. Appreciate it. Stu for Lunch is a great guy.
He is.
He does his play on words with his name, and the shit cracks me up every time. You don't realize how well, like all the different things you can do with the name Stu until you follow Stu for Lunch, and then that stuff comes up in the feed. It's fantastic. Billy Boys Toys is here. Welcome in. Toy Gains in the house. Welcome in, my brother. I caught you when you were on the Figure Fight Club Plastic Journey. It was fantastic. So welcome in, my dude. And yeah, I can do this LP because I get around 20 people that watch it live. Did you crack 500 the other night? Because I know you guys were up to it was 480 something the one time I looked, and I was like, God damn. So anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, that's live views.
We've cracked 1,000 one time.
What?
Yeah, one time we did, but it's usually around 400 or 500, sometimes 600, 700.
Nice.
Not so often 7, but 500, 600 when Bobby's on.
Dude, that's fantastic. I mean, I mean, off the maybe I don't. Does anybody else do any numbers like that? Off the top of my head, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, in the world of streaming, we're tiny.
No, I mean, for maybe just toys in general, I guess it'd be hard to limit it. Like, you have some that are just mostly about maybe a G.I. Joe podcast, and then there's maybe some that are about all different kinds of toys. Like I'm usually talking mostly about G.I. Joe. Other stuff cracks in there because there's lots of other people in the community that I'm close to that definitely collect Transformers or anything G.I. Joe adjacent and stuff like that. But anyway, that success is earned. It's always a great show. I'd love to see it. Stu for Lunch says we all need to bottle this energy of Destro Design. We would make the new Red Bull. But
Red Bull. It's something stronger than that.
If you made a commercial out of that,
Red Bull and
I'm thinking of like a white powdery substance here.
So the problem is if you sold that, the commercial would look like a pharmaceutical commercial. On the bottom, side effects include bits of craziness, losing your mind every now and again for maybe a couple days at a time. I think there's something there. My production friends, we can workshop something because I think that might actually wind up being very, very funny.
Remodeling your bathroom in 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. Oh, dude, don't let my wife hear you. I'm legit remodeling my house, and
nice.
the whole second floor is has been ripped out and gutted for a minute. I ran into some problems, not problems per se, but unforeseen work that I wound up was like, oh my God, I got this all ripped out. I have to do this now. I can't work, come back later and whatever. So, yeah, no, for sure. No, I do get a lot done. There's no question about that. I was actually having a conversation with somebody earlier about, how much is too much, with certain things. I'm up to 12, 15 hours of podcasting a week, and I write 2 articles for Serpentor's Lair. That's why I haven't put out like a finished photography shot in like 6 weeks. I've been going through the B-side photos to do my promotion for like Sis 3 Arsenal and MOS Mind and all those other ones. Yeah. So I got a bunch of stuff from GI Customs that the Ford modification, there's like railings and stuff for the top. And he actually just sent me, I have a picture, but I'll show it real quick. This is fucking awesome. So it goes perfectly. So CG made me this, which I'm obsessed with. I think it's fantastic. And now this sits right there, which I meant to ask, oh God, what is his name? GI Customs, Chaz, right? Chaz?
No, Chaz the Guru? That's a different guy, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't.
I follow them both. I don't know if it's the same person. I'm shocked.
That would be crazy. God, I can't think of it. If you happen to be watching, brother, because I got in the letter he sent. I remember reading it. He was like, "Thanks again," and it had his name. When I read the name, I went, "That doesn't ring a bell." But he was so nice enough to send this to me. I absolutely love it. It looks fantastic. But so when I do promo shots for the podcast, I usually take this and then I was putting 2 figures, like, one on each side. And then I was not photoshopping, but whatever the hell I do on my phone and sliding in the label over the top. So it was there. And now I don't have to do that. Now they both look real and it's fantastic. But anyway, this is going to go in well. So I have 4 Ford mods and then 2 railing sets. And I'm going to set that up as like it's going to be an entrance to a Cobra base in the side of a mountain. And this is going to be out there in front. And I'm going to do a whole series of shots to highlight his product, but also like it's going to be a new kind of a logo for Viper Den Studios, which, Blue Barnella says, yes, it's Chaz. Okay. So when he was in here with us a month ago, 5 weeks ago. And I almost called him Chris like 5 times, but every time it was about to come out of my mouth, my mind went, no, that's not it. I kept coming back to it.
Do you have any of the urinals he made for those things?
I do not.
I saw that on Yojo Jerk Show, and I was like, that's pretty great. I wish I would have got one of those things now, just to make an actual outhouse. It'd be hilarious.
It is hysterical. And listen, so the stuff that I've gotten from him so far is top notch. It's very good. And I'm talking about like, in an insane amount of time, it is in the mail. Like I think he pre-makes some stuff, and I know I ordered maybe some of the ones that are selling a lot, so he's probably definitely got those made. But I'm talking about like the next day, and he does that cool thing whenever he's on somebody else's show or his own show, he does this thing where if you put an order in stream 10 and you order when he's actually on, you can get an additional 10% off. I think that's pretty awesome. I did it a couple times for him for sure. I've had some people here that were nice enough to order stuff from, say, the guys that I sponsor. So like Matt from MOS Mind, I think Conrad bought an Outpost Live. G.I. Dave bought a bunch of stuff from Sister Arsenal and everything. So absolutely fantastic. But just circling back to kind of put a bow on the origins of 3POA and how you wind up here. So who does this show? Do you have regular people on Wednesday? Like I know Zakanian is there all the time. I spoke with him before. He's pretty cool. It looks like I've seen Jersey Maniac. Is he a regular on there? Because I felt like he's been on there. Yeah, like just about every time. Very cool.
So Midweek Mayhem is me, Jeremy. Wednesdays used to just be me and Jeremy on a show I called Loose But Complete, and then we decided to expand. So we called it the Midweek Mayhem because there's 5 guys, and sometimes it gets a little a little unruly, you know, people talking over each other and stuff, but we try to have fun with it. But yeah, anyways, it's me and Jeremy, Zakanan, Jersey Maniac, and then Sam Newsman, the puppet.
I love the puppet, dude.
Me too.
Like you remember the Jackie puppet, right? I mean, that's going way back to when Billy West was on the Howard Stern show, and he used to do the Jackie voice, and they would make fun of him like smoking all the weed and like all that other stuff, and it was just it was hysterical. So the first time I saw that puppet, I was like, oh man, this is fantastic. Nice. Very good. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody that's watching now is fully well aware of when all those shows are. But again, that's Wednesday night, Midweek Mayhem, 9:00 Eastern time, and Saturday night is 9 o'clock also on Saturday, right?
8:00.
8:00. Okay, Jesus God, I'm terrible. Shows you how much time I put into research. Actually, I did go look, and as I was looking on YouTube through the older videos, and it doesn't like say because it's already been shown, so it doesn't show the start time anymore. And I was like, oh, Jesus, I don't know what time it starts. Very good, very good. Let's see here. Yeah, so that again, that 47 inches, the new ramen toy from Ace, it looks ridiculous, as does the Wolverine. So I didn't know, somebody just sent me a picture of it. I think when I was listening to the podcast, I think somebody, it was like he announced it before, but I just saw it. I just saw somebody sent me a picture of it. Now that looks pretty cool too. Like, talk about big. I mean,
this is going to be this is going to be Ace's second tank, and it's going to actually be like the Mauler.
Yeah,
nice.
He's basically doing the real world version of the Mauler.
That's what's up. I love it.
I bought his first tank. I bought the desert one of it, and dude, it's a great tank. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
He puts out some good stuff, and I think reasonable price too. I mean,
sure,
if you get the pre-orders in.
Yeah, right. I always try to get it on the early birds because it basically means it equals free shipping because he has to ship everything from China directly to you. You know, he doesn't have a distributor here, not yet.
Yeah.
So
right.
Yeah.
Very good. So G.I. Joe isn't exactly super high up on your pantheon of collectibles. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I was all about superheroes and Star Wars and stuff like that. And I had some G.I. Joe figures, not a ton, you know, maybe 10, 15, 20 figures. But I like the figures. I just never got into the lore of it all. I'm a big Marvel Legends collector, and I always wanted like just generic military guys to go with them. And so when Action Force happened, I was a backer like day one. And then G.I. Joe Classified came out. And so, I was interested. I wanted G.I. Joe in 6-inch just to go with Marvel Legends as like military guys.
Right, right.
And so, but now that I'm reading the Energon universe, I'm pretty sucked in to.
That's what's up.
Like the Energon universe is really good. I love how they're combining with, Transformers, and even that the new thing they're doing called Void Rivals has been really good. So now I am a bit of a G.I. Joe fan, but I'm like a very new G.I. Joe fan. I don't know the old lore, haven't read the old comics. I'm just like into the Energon stuff. And I like the Classified line. It's a great line.
Nice. Yeah, it's really the Classified line really it was like, if you ever read any of the articles I published about like what it was like for me collecting as a kid, this whole thing has kind of really brought me back because I was an obsessed kid, like legitimately to the degree that like my whole family was aware. I was like telling my mother, because I have a lot of aunts and uncles, right? I have I think it's 6 blood aunts and uncles on my mom's side and 7 on my dad's side. So that's a lot of people. Birthdays, they come when you're young. A lot of people come by, and I remember like having my mom call everybody and tell them he only wants G.I. Joes. Please don't show up with anything else besides G.I. Joes. And if you already bought something, that's fine. Just bring the receipt. We'll bring it back and we'll get something else. And crazy enough, after all that, I only wound up getting, I think, like one overlap, right? You would think the first time I got, it was the 2 Iron Grenadier soldiers. I think one was for my birthday, and then I got one for Christmas. And it was like, the troop builder in me was born, right? Like as soon as I had two of them together, plus it was very much like there was the cover of the comic book, I think, where they first showed Destro with the gold head, and he was standing there with his cape, and he had an Iron Grenadier on each side of him. That was the whole cover. So now that I could actually do that, I had that basically set up on my dresser. If I wasn't using those figures to play with, that comic book cover was recreated on the dresser there. And like my backyard the whole summer was a battle zone. You couldn't you don't leave stuff out overnight usually, like on purpose anyway. But everything was on lockdown for the entirety of the day. I remember my sister Amanda being like, how come I can't play over here? I'm like, because I got this stuff standing up. Get your kickball out of here. Like, what are you doing? She was a couple years younger than I. And it wasn't until, finally I can remember, I think it was, I had gotten Scarlet, a Lady J, and then when I had two ladies, she finally agreed to because I didn't care who it was. I just wanted somebody to hold these figures over here so we could do the damn thing, and you could do it by yourself, but it's not as fun. But yeah, so when I was young, I was a very, very obsessed person. But I get it. If you weren't into the cartoon, there's a lot that goes on with the toy line that you might be like, what is happening here?
It's not even that I didn't like it. I just didn't have a lot of it. Like when I was a kid, we were really poor, and all my toys were secondhand.
Okay.
So I would get stuff at flea markets and swap meets, and so I went just for what I knew. Like I know Star Wars. Like I want that Boba Fett and that Stormtrooper and that Luke, and so I would go for those. And then if I was shopping with my grandmother on the weekend, she had me on the weekends because my parents were working or whatever, we'd go to Kmart and I'd be like, I want that Superpowers Superman or Green Lantern,
Nice.
Yeah.
Truth be told, it was very similar. My parents were children when I was born. And they definitely did the best they could. And we had I can remember like all the bigger ticket items like the Terradrome and like the battle platform and like all of those bigger things I definitely got from garage sales when I was like 9, right? So I think when the toys that came out in 86, that was when I literally was launched into the stratosphere. I was foaming at the mouth for it. And so I remember the summer of 87 when I had all those toys that I had gotten from Christmas and everything. I remember being out there playing, and I remember saying to my mom, I want this Terradrome because the Terradrome had just come out in 86. I was like, I need this Terradrome. And she definitely was scouring garage sales, and she was like, can you just present? There's no cell phones. So there was one time I remember she came home. God, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a Barbie Playhouse. It might even have been something Star Wars, but it was just like this, almost like this playset. God, I have to go back and look and try to figure out what that was. But she came back with it, and I was like, oh my God, no! I remember her calling my grandparents to say, okay, I'm coming to pick up Michael. Tell him I found that Terradrome, and I was so excited. And then I looked in the back seat of the car, and it was not the Terradrome. I was like, oh motherfucker! No. So most of that stuff, definitely the hot ticket items, I can say definitely came from the garage sales. But even when I was young, I can remember the people on the block. I mowed lawns. I, shoveled driveways. As a kid, that was a rite of passage,
Yep. Paper route.
Paper route.
Yeah. I had a couple of those. Yep.
Definitely. CG, how about you? Did you shovel them driveways, mow them lawns?
No, I had a paper route at 11 years old.
Nice.
And then I would get paid once a month.
Yeah, that was the longest month in between those tiny paper route paychecks, man.
Yeah, but I remember that first paycheck, I went and I bought the Dreadnought the cycle. I can't think what it's the tricycle.
Yeah,
the shit ton of figures and stuff. I just blew that whole check on toys.
100%. 100%.
I think I did the same thing, but it was the old Toy Biz X-Men line.
Oh, okay.
That paper out money, and it was $25 for the month. But
yeah,
I could I could get 4 or 5 X-Men figures, at the time.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that well. I was lucky. I had I had this one old guy that used to tip me a ton of money. I think his wife passed away. He might have been living there alone or something like that. And I remember the dude was always like trying to sit there, keep me on the porch for 15 minutes talking. And I'd be like, okay, I got all these papers. I'm holding this huge stack of papers, brother. But you want to try to be nice because I know he's gonna hand me that $20 bill. It was a lot. Like I can remember getting like my whole week's pay in a tip, like equal to it for a tip from him in that regard. Something kind of cool. Now, by the time the story I'm about to say came around, I was just out of GI Joes, so I think a lot of this money went to sports cards because that was where the fixation went to. Right, was those last bit of Joes I had. I had some Ninja Turtles that I loved until the Cops line came out, and then I had a friend of mine who had Cops, no Ninja Turtles. I had Ninja Turtles, no Cops. We just did a complete swap. It was like 4 Turtles for 3 Cops, but it was 3 of the Cops that had like a bunch of accessories. It seemed like a fair deal to me at the time, and yeah, so there was this development that got made right up in my town, like up on the hill area. A bit of land had sold, and so they built like a row of track houses basically, and a bunch of people that were retired moved in there. Because even though you bought a home and you owned that home there, it was like you were signed up for like probably something like what do they call it? The home the like the board that tells you can't put
HOA.
The HOA, yes, thank you. That they did something where they would do all the stuff that was. But at first, for the first 2 winters that these houses were built, they had nothing set up for snow removal. So me and my buddy would literally just go from one house to the other, to the other, to the other. And when you're 12 years old, you've got the spunk in you to do all that. And I remember that first time we went, I couldn't tell you how many houses we did, but I know that we got cookies and hot chocolate at damn near every single one. And I think we each had like $300 at the end of the day, which if you're talking like back then was just
that's a lot of money. Yeah,
it was a lot of money. To the point I remember my parents being like, "Oh, we can't let you just have that money." Hey, girls, just saying hello to my children. They were over at they went to the softball fields. They weren't playing today, but they went to go. How was it? Did you girls have fun? Nice, very good. You want to say hello to everybody? Okay. All right. Well, I need to get back to it then. Okay. Thanks for coming down to say hello. Oh, you want a hug? Okay, come here. Hurry up. This is probably terrible for podcasting, but I don't care. You want one too, Peyton? Okay. All right. I love you, girls. Thanks for coming down. Yeah. So
$300. You could buy 3 flags at the. They were $100. The flag was $100, so that's a ton back then.
Right. I mean, thank God. If I wasn't so wrapped up and already moved on by that time, I probably would have bought a flag. You know what's weird too is I never even remember seeing a flag like in the store or anything. You know what I mean? There was a lot of stuff that like the things I remember, I'm pretty sure I remember them accurately, but I know I don't remember everything, right? And when I think about what the flag was something I never saw. Sky Striker, never saw a Sky Striker. There was like a bunch of vehicles. I remember the Havoc. Somebody ordered it out of a catalog for me or something like that. And also something weird too, there was no Joe Comics where I was growing up. Like how or why or whatever happened there. There was one comic book store that the guy was very cool. I loved going there. But the dude, like, I remember hearing later on from a guy that worked there later that like he had a thing against like war and just didn't want the realistic idea of boots on the ground soldiers that were realistic like that. He just he didn't think kids should be reading it, which is
he was a hippie.
He was a hippie. But when you look at it's like all this other stuff, when you look it through, there's blood. He's got graphic novels, blood and gore everywhere. But I guess there is a line between what is so obviously fake, with there's because if you look at G.I. Joe, it's part of I think why I liked it so much was that as a kid you're kind of like maybe they have that for real. So things like I remember Sergeant Slaughter, right?
Maybe they can turn people into snakes. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. I guess I'm not a doctor for all I know. Right, but there was a bunch of shit where I was like, they had a lot of like regular tanks, and then of course like the thing that came out of the back of the Havoc had like a weird propulsion system. So it's almost like you don't know, you suspend disbelief much easier at that age. But I just remember being like, when Sergeant Slaughter came out, it was like, well, wait a minute, that's a real guy. Here he is. It's a real person. If there's real people in here, maybe some of this other stuff is real. And I feel like I'm missing out on something. There's like a handful of other things too that really gave me that feeling that like, is it possible that this shit is real? Like, I loved it. I was all Sunbow cartoon. I had a Rise Serpentor Rise videotape that I melted from watching it so much. Some people were lucky enough where I've heard people remember having it every day after school. They had G.I. Joe, right? They would come home, it would be on eventually. And that was not the case. I remember I had it just Saturday mornings at first. Then I remember getting a couple tapes from like the earlier ones. So like the Mass Device and Pyramid of Darkness were some of the ones, like the first early ones that came out. And I remember having those, and I watched those all the time. Because like if I watch them now, the memories I have out of it, I was like, oh, I can say what the next words are. Like it was said from watching it so much. But yeah, no comic books. So that really had really limited my view of G.I. Joe, meaning like it was either what I got from the figures and the file cards or the Sunbow cartoon. There was a large part of what was going on there that I wasn't taking in. And honestly, I was talking about this the other night on Destro is My Spirit Animal, that one of the reasons I picked up the compendiums, just the regular paperback ones, the cheap ones off Amazon, just to kind of read through, is because I feel like I'll even be a better toy photographer. I'll tell a better story if I understand some of these characters more, right? Because the Sunbow representation isn't the number one canon, and not that it has to be. I don't know if there's another line of toys that has.
Well, the comics were first, right?
Yes, the comics were definitely first. I think the comics were coming out for handful of years. I think before the
comics started in '82, and then I think the cartoon, the first Mass Device, was '83.
Was the end of '83? I believe that's correct. So yeah, but there was definitely quite a few issues out before. I see some new people popping in on the chat. We got House Hendo here. What's up, my dude? Glad you could make it. Gentleman Gaming, that's her boy. Big Country, thank you, my sir, for coming in. I appreciate it. We just scroll back. This week's in Hearthstone. And yeah, very good. So what did you like back in the day then? I remember you saying on Destro is My Spirit Animal, you did like the Ninja Turtles.
Well, I like the Ninja Turtles now, but when I was a kid, I was indifferent to them. I had friends that had the Turtles, the toys and stuff. I was indifferent to them. I was all about Super Friends and the Superpowers line. I was all about the Star Wars movies that I had taped off of TV.
Oh, no shit. Nice.
I didn't even have like the legit VHS. I had recorded off of TV Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi with commercials and everything. And those were the tapes that I wore out as a kid.
Yeah,
and I had secondhand Star Wars toys, and my cousin Mark, he's 5 years older than me, which was perfect because he grew out of toys when I was at my peak. I'm
nice.
I'm like 9, 10. He's 14, 15. He sells me his massive Star Wars collection for $50.
Oh my God!
So I'm talking. This is 89 or 90. I'm talking AT-AT, Y-wing, Rebel Transport, Snow Speeder, tons of Rancor, ATST, AT-AT. Did I say AT-AT? I think I did.
I think you did. But dude, that's wild.
Yeah, and probably 30 loose figures. And
wow.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's to this day. I still love Star Wars. I don't like what it's become, obviously, but even seeing The Last Jedi couldn't ruin Luke Skywalker for me. I'm just like, okay, that's not Luke Skywalker in this movie. That this is not a Star. Yeah. It is fan fiction, and I separate it. I'm like, this is fan fiction, and the real story is what George did.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, that's such a bummer. I grew up with my cousin. I did enjoy Star Wars, But one of my cousin Ian, who I was relatively close to, he was big into it. I think his dad really liked Star Wars and Star Trek. I can remember going to their house and like in their bedroom they had a TV, and I don't know if it was a videotape. Even when nobody was in there was Star Trek on that television. Like I'm talking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whenever you went into that house, and even with one of those things where if as a kid you think it's weird, that means that it was massively weird, right? If you pick up on it when you're 6 or 7, is odd.
I never liked the original Star Trek series. I liked the Next Generation.
I'd have to agree with that. There was something very plain, like it. You know what it reminded me of? It was like the first Star Trek was like a shitty version of Batman. You know, remember the original one with Cesar Romero and the boom pow? Like the outfits looked like original cosplays, right? Like they look like these were people who made. There it is. Oh, that's nice. Look at that.
Cool.
You mentioned him. I had to show it because this figure is amazing.
Yeah, that does look fantastic. I love those extras that it comes with there. That is freaking great.
He comes, and lots of accessories. Anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, no shit.
I derailed you.
No. Listen, I'll derail myself sometimes from talking too much. But that's fantastic. I love that figure. But yeah, that's what I thought. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I will say, as a Star Wars kid and having the Kenner line, I was jealous of you G.I. Joe guys because you guys had better figures, right? Like if Hasbro had been making Star Wars in the 70s and 80s, we probably would have had O-Ring Star Wars, which would have blown my mind as a kid because I always felt constrained by the 5 POA. Even as a kid, I still loved them. I still wanted them all. But, you play with the G.I. Joe, right, with the elbows and the swivel arm and all that. It's like it was a world of difference with playing with them as a kid.
It's very hard to compete. And I remember, so when I first found, I remember seeing Joe's in the stores in '82, and all that they had in this KB Toys was it was 3 green shirts and like scarlet or something like that. And I remember looking and going, oh, they look cool, but it looked just like army men. And plus I was still like that year between when 82 hit, I was still like a baby. I was like just turning 4. But I remember seeing them and being like, eh. And then it was the next year, whatever, my mind had developed a little more. And then I saw the Destro and the Snake Eyes version, I think 1.5, because it wasn't the original, it wasn't version 1, and it wasn't the iconic, version 2. There was that middle ground where it was just slightly different. I don't remember what the hell it was. But yeah, when I saw those, that's when everything exploded. But I had a handful of Star Wars figures, right? And I had some He-Man. And then when I got that Destro home and started moving that stuff around, I was like, oh God, this is just exactly what you're talking about in terms of the elbows, man. That shit was like, you felt like you were opening a whole new world that you could do with these figures, instead of just the
yeah, but remember the first 13 didn't have the swivel arm.
Right.
That came a little the next set. I'm kind of like with you guys. I was Star Wars when I grew up. First movie I ever saw was Star Wars. I was 3 going on 4. My dad drags me to the theater because he was in love with Star Wars, just based off the trailers, I guess. And so I was getting the toys. And like my mom was all in. I had Y-Wing, X-Wing, TIE Fighters, Dagobah playset. And I went to a birthday party and he had Storm Shadow. Ooh. And that whole weekend I was playing with his Storm Shadow, and I'm like, I gotta have this figure. And it pissed my mom off because she's like, I'll get you this one figure, but you are not switching toys. She caved. I switched toys. But, at the beginning of like using the G.I. Joe, I was using my Star Wars vehicles for G.I. Joe until I
would do the same thing.
My collection built up.
Yep.
Definitely. Oh, anything could get used back then, right? There was this one, God, I can't remember the name. I actually think Country Gentleman in the chat was the one that posted a picture of it not that long ago. There was these vehicles. They were a light gray plastic and had like a red tinted shield. There was a very low, thin, like car kind of one. And then it was more of like a van. And these were very knockoff-ish. Like these were the cheapest, least expensive of the least expensive. And they came out right around the time that the Joes were out. And I remember getting a lot of those. I remember my mother being like, well, no, the GI Joe figure fits, and I was like, yeah, this is the GI Joe. Like, what are you talking about?
Wasn't that called like laser something? Like
yes,
there was like a
yes.
2-seater jet that came with a like also like a van or tank or something.
That's definitely
it was Laser Force.
Laser Force. I had that jet, dude. I remember.
I had the jet and the 6-wheel tank.
Ooh, that's the one I remember. 6-wheel tank. Definitely cool. Kind of in the same vein but different is the Blue Thunder helicopter. I don't know if you guys had that, but it was.
I've had that.
So Blue Thunder was a show, kind of like Airwolf, and it had this unbelievable. It looked kind of like a dragonfly, but it had much more different stuff, and it was crazy looking. The cockpit was weird. I think I remember the GI Joes didn't fit perfectly in there, but the rest of it was so unbelievable that you had to. It was if you had it, you would remember it because they had this underbelly cannon like the Fang had, or even the Dragonfly for sure. Which totally sidetracked, but man, that Dragonfly is nice. I almost didn't get that because it had already come out, and in a secondary market, the price was like. I was like, man, I don't know if I want a helicopter, display purposes. The thing is huge. Like, what would I do with pictures or whatever? And then there's a gentleman who lives close to me, and I wound up going up. He was selling some stuff on Marketplace, and I went to his house to buy some stuff. And Homeboy had 2 Rattlers, wings out next to each other on the dining room table, which explained the divorce. And then he had a Dragonfly that was out of the box and on display. And I was like, ooh, shit. Look at that. Damn. Now I have to get that for sure. Like, that shit was wild.
Check out the screen I'm sharing with you. Can you bring that up?
Ooh, yep. Hold on. Let's see. Where is that? There it is. Ooh.
Vintage Laser Force.
There it is.
Whoa. That's it. Laser Force.
there was a different tank, though.
Yeah, there was.
Because it was the tank I had more of a glass shield in the front, like the canopy was big.
Yeah,
but I definitely had that jet.
That is crazy.
But
Jesus,
I mean,
look at those.
Talk about like core memory,
Yeah, right, for sure. There has been so many things in the past year. Now that I'm, headfirst into all this, that I see stuff all the time, and you can hear the door opening in your mind. That creaky ass door that needs that WD-40. You haven't looked in there in 40 years, but damn, you see a picture, and then next thing you know, there you are. Yeah, dude, that is awesome. Look at that.
If you go out to Pinterest, I'm on Pinterest a lot because people will post all kinds of pictures. People are customizing these into like Cobra vehicles and stuff like that.
The Laser Force stuff?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
I mean, why not? If you can do it, get it done. Hell yeah. Wow, that is insane. And I think I remember that they were affordable, right? I think that's what.
Yes.
I think that's what the draw was, is that they were, everybody could get, because most of the vehicles. That's the one right there.
That's the one.
That's the one that I had.
I seem to remember this. Yep. I seem to remember this coming in a set with the jet, the 2-seater jet.
Yeah, that sounds right. Sounds right.
I don't think they came with any figures, though, did they?
No,
I don't recall figures. No.
Yeah, but yeah, I would use these with my GI Joes and Star Wars.
Wow. Yeah.
So when is one of these independent companies going to make this?
Listen, that is such a. That goes to the, like you said, such a core memory. I would fucking buy it.
Yeah,
I would buy that. Who knows? Who knows ultimately in the end how much we wind up having to rely on third party to make stuff that we don't wind up getting. We're not going to see every single GI Joe vehicle get made in classified scale by Hasbro. I think we can all agree that that's not going to happen. Well, it sucks. Man. That thank you for pulling that up, brother. That's fantastic.
I mean, you can buy this for $32 from this guy on eBay, and if you're a 3D printer, you could scan it, design it, and print it out.
Yeah. I'm looking to see if anybody has already uploaded any 3D files for it.
Yeah, there you go.
I think they were supported to be a third-party offering. Well, Matt from MOS Mind is throwing a teaser out. He's hey, listen, that dude can print just about anything. I would trust that whatever he made would be excellent. there's also a gentleman too. If you're not following him, you should be. Plastic Fantastic on Instagram. But I think that A's in Plastic and Fantastic are not A's. It's a 4. So if you find that guy, it turns out that he is from this area where we grew up at the same time, just literally living across the river from each other. A friend of his is a dude that I know. And anyways, long story short, we got to talking one day, and he was talking about the band that his buddy was in. I was like, oh, how do you know about that band? Are you from upstate New York? And he's like, oh yeah, I grew up in blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, get the fuck out of here. That's literally right across the river. Anyways, this gentleman has printed, and I said this the other night and he didn't correct me, so I assume I'm right. He 3D printed every G.I. Joe vehicle in classified scale from 82 to I think it was 91, which I clarified with him when he first told me this. I was like, dude, do you know how many vehicles came out in those years? He goes, yeah, I know. I did them all. I saw pictures. So he did a Terradrome in classified scale.
Holy shit.
Bro,
Big.
there's pictures out there for sure, right? Yeah. That there's people that have done them. And while they you could tell that everybody put a lot of time and effort into the one, but there is only one, and it's the one that Plastic Fantastic made. That is like all the details are there. The dome that collapses for the fire bat is like money. I heard a couple good ideas of people that were talking about, you could do a Terradrome kind of HasLab thing, or you sell it in sections, right? Little slices of a pie. And so you could buy a couple and do just like a half a wall. And then one of the things that you could buy would be, the tube with the fire bat in it and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
I mean, that all sounds great, but we have a hard time, kicking off just a snowcat. I don't know. They start getting elaborate, like with all these pieces and shit, and with everything else that seems to be happening over there. I do get a little worried about what we wind up getting, from Hasbro. Kind of off topic that we were just, and I'm sure you've probably exhausted this ad nauseum, but Lenny leaving it in itself is something that everybody has a bunch of opinions on, and how that shakes out. And I think we even talked about it a little bit on Mark's show. But did that happen by then? I can't remember. But anyway,
go ahead, share my screen.
Oh, nice. Okay, hold on. Because I'm trying to be. There we go. Nice. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the classified Terradrome.
That's it. That thing is ridiculous. Like, it's so awesome. The doors swivel, the whole thing. I don't know if he's selling them. I don't think he's selling anything that he has. I think he does it just for the love of the game, which is nuts.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, look at that. Look at those. I mean,
impressive.
I can only imagine what that would be anyway. But yeah, who knows? It might be the only place you wind up being able to get a Terradrome is from somebody printing it. I wonder how long that takes to print, right? Like, I know how big the Atlas is,
forever.
And you're just doing that thing endlessly. I think Matt said that what was the Atlas, Matt? Like 128 pieces, 128 different printed pieces. Like, that's just fucking insane. Jesus Christmas. Holy cow.
People like this probably have like a farm of printers. They're not just using like one or two. They probably have like 10 printers going all the time.
Oh, okay. So the Atlas is not pieces. I think I made this mistake last time. 125 print hours.
Damn.
That is crazy. That is crazy balls. Wow. Holy moly. Well, I'm just happy that there's people that are out there doing it, And the Terradrome, that Terradrome looks great, and I'm glad to know the guy. I'm actually trying to get him on a podcast. I was like, dude, we can do a live one where I just walk around, and you could show us all your shit. I know that I want to see all that, like what is, there's so many vehicles that we don't have that I would love to see what they look like in, a classified scale. So, is 112 your preferred scale? Like, I see you have a absolute ton of figures back there. Is that what you're rocking with? Is 112?
Yeah, I pretty much exclusively stick with 112. I have a very few 3 3/4, which is it's kind of weird because I used to be like a 3 3/4 purist, at least with Star Wars.
Right.
I didn't get into Black Series until 2-3 years into the line because I was like, I'm not buying a new scale. And then like Hasbro did a great job of kind of destroying their vintage collection line, their 3 3/4, and so I slowly got into Black Series, and then before I knew it, I was like, I'm all in on Black Series, and I started selling off my 3 3/4 stuff, and I decided I'm only doing 112.
Nice.
So,
I felt like I had to make a decision as well. So what drew me back into the collecting was the classifieds, right? I saw the Alley Viper on Amazon, and I was like, well, funny story is that originally what had happened was in 2008, there was 25th anniversary stuff, and then there was stuff that came out because of the movie, right? I think Rise of Cobra, there was stuff that came out, the movie figures or whatever. And so I remember seeing they had a bunch of stuff in Walmart that was on clearance. And I was like, ooh, I'm talking about, I picked up, 25th anniversary stuff like the Fang, the Hiss 1, the Hiss 2, the Awe Striker. Dude, I think those things were like $4 a piece. So I was like, you know what? I'll fucking take those. I hadn't collected a G.I. Joe in, at that point, 20 fucking years or something like that. I was like, this is definitely where it's at for me. Let me grab these. And they sat in the closet. And then I think it was at another Walmart, I found movie figures, and I bought a few of them. And I was like, yeah, these are actually pretty cool. And again, that time before my kid's brother, I was a crazy person. So stuff like that really couldn't penetrate what was on my radar, So I put those in the closet, and then I remember somebody showing me one thing where they was like, they were like, hey man, look at this. Don't you like G.I. Joe? I was like, yeah, man, I love G.I. Joe. And they were showing me an ad for the Hiss HasLab. Now, mind you, I had no idea that they were doing a 112 scale. So somebody hands me the phone, and I'm looking at it like this, and I'm like, oh, okay, what? And then I'm seeing it, and I'm thinking in my head that this is a tiny Hiss tank like this for $300, and I don't get it for a year. And I was like, what? Take this fucking phone back. What the hell? I'm not doing that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, holy shit. And so then I never saw any. It just didn't cross paths until that fateful just before Christmas. I was looking for some like last minute gifts for people and everything, and the next thing I knew, I was like, wow, wait a minute, because it said right in the ad, it was like classified scale, 6-inch, 112, whatever, and I was like 6-inch, and I just kind of pulled it up. I looked at it, and I was like, Alley Viper is like one of my all time favorites. So I was like, you know what, I think I have to get one of these. And so I was so excited, I bought it. And then like an hour later, I was like, well, wait a minute, they gotta have more. And so I went and I looked, and there was a Destro, and I was like, all right, let me get the Destro, let me get the Alley Viper, and we'll see what they're about. And dude, it's the proverbial hit a crack. I opened up that Alley Viper, and I knew immediately that I was in trouble. I was like, why I all of a sudden, like, kind of just literally out of nowhere was like, I want to take pictures of these fucking things. Like, I don't know why. I was not a photographer. I mean, I was doing, if you look on, my Destro Designs Instagram, or, scroll down on my YouTube a little, you'll see contracting progress videos, or tool review videos. Like, sure, I was doing that. So I guess maybe that's what lends itself. But for the most part, I definitely was like, I want to take pictures out. And then I was like, all right, so I'm going to get a Shockwave and an Alley Viper, and I'm going to just make a scene they're in an alley, right? They're the suburban commandos. It's a battle for suburbia. I'm just going to take that picture. And then I was like, well, I can't just have one Alley Viper. I should probably have two in the picture. So I ordered another one, and then I started to like sketch out the thing. And I was like, well, it really look better if I have 4 and Shockwave has some backup. So I was like, low light looks like he's kind of a urban, kind of commando. Let me get that one. And then I was like, I saw the Alpha Commando Snake Eyes, and I was like, well, now he looks like it too. So now all of a sudden I went from just like, I'll get these 2, to all of a sudden, before I even like got any, I only opened one. Now I have like 5 more on order, and it was really just like an avalanche from there for the most part. I was definitely started.
You've seen Woody 222's collection, right? Like, you watch his channel, you've seen how he already builds. Yes,
I believe so. Actually, Woody 222, welcome in. Yes, you're the gentleman that has the black shelves, and it's just a sea of classified. Is that the guy?
I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever seen.
And it's the one. It's the one.
Yeah. 50 of like each trooper, probably.
Yes. Thank you for joining us, Woody 222. By the way, call sign smash in the house too. Big Red.
Are you on like his level? Are you getting like 50 of every trooper or
No, not
okay?
exactly. No. I have, so the most I have for troop building is I have 28 Python Patrol Vipers. And the only reason I wound up with those many was because, I mentioned my guy that was local. He had made some very poor decisions financially and had to try to get out from underneath it. He was selling at ridiculous prices. I actually reached out to him. I was like, dude, I will give you something fair. I was like, don't put this out there. I was like, you're selling shit like way too cheap. And so ultimately, one of the things that I bought from was I got 15 complete Python Patrol Vipers for $10 a rip. So 150 bucks for 15 figures is like I had to say yes to that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, dude. So I went crazy on one army builder. That's the original trilogy Stormtrooper Black Series, and I have 50 of those. But
See, now,
I
that
couldn't
makes
do
sense.
50 of every
No,
trooper. I can't. It's
but I feel like if there is any type of trooper amongst like all of the different lines of toys, I feel like the one you're talking about is one of maybe a handful, right? That deservedly we would say you get a bunch. Now, if there was like even with GI Joe, you could talk about the bat, maybe 50 bats, and the guy that I was talking about did have, I think he had 75 bats and sold 25 of them.
Jeez.
Listen, this guy had 4 his tanks. He had 2 rattlers out on the table. He had a dragonfly on display, 2 of them in the box, and what I think he had a ton of vamps, and he was like, that was the only thing he didn't want to give a deal on. He was like, no, I'm planning on recouping most of my money that I need to get back because he had like 8 or 9 vamps, and
jeez.
those things are selling right now for, well, at this point, he could make $2,000 profit off of 9 vamps with the way that they're selling.
Yeah, those are like 200 each right now, right?
Yeah.
Those are
I've seen
300.
them for like 250 at conventions.
But if you go to eBay, dude, it's 300 plus. There's guys out there that have them listed for 5. Now, are they selling at that? No, but the fact that that's where they're at with it, just absolutely insane. Yeah, so that's okay. So 50 of the stormtroopers, brother. I mean, I feel like that makes sense. One of the guys that we're going to be talking about at some point too, Chris from Sister the Arsenal. I think he has pretty crazy Star Wars collection. I've heard him talk about it on Figure Fight Club a handful of times, and I know when he came on the show, and I remember he and I were talking about troop building and stuff. And so, I mean, where I'm at with it right now is, recently we get a good laugh out of this. I accidentally bought 16 Night Vipers. What I mean by accidentally is
accidentally.
Oops, I slipped and hit checkout.
It was a series of pratfalls. It was, add to cart. I had to hit it 16 times to go up, and then I fell into the checkout. No, I was playing pre-order chicken where I had ordered 10, and then they popped up on Amazon for like next day delivery, and the ones I had on pre-order weren't coming out for like 2 months. So of course I ordered a bunch of them from Amazon to show up the next day, and I was relatively certain that I had canceled those other orders, and I did not. So it wasn't until I think I had gotten notification that a bunch of them had shipped from Amazon again, and I was like, wait a minute, didn't I cancel one of those? I was like, wait, I must have canceled the Hasbro order. So I went over to Pulse, and I was like, and that one said shipped as well. So I was like, they're already, now granted, when they came in, I could have returned a few, but Mark, just was my spirit animal, he didn't have any. And there was actually, in that moment, they weren't available anywhere, because like when I got them, there was that rush that was on Amazon, but all the other pre-orders were still like 2 months out. So I was like, I'll send you 2 of these. I felt greedy. And then my brother Jay Antonio, I keep forgetting, but I'm gonna send him 2 of them as well. So 28 Python Patrol Vipers, and then I have a handful of ones that are all around 12 and 13, like regular Alley Viper, Crimson Alley Viper, Snow Serpents, the Night Vipers. Then I have a bunch that are all around 6, 7, 8, like the Techno Vipers, the Bats, the regular troopers, the number 12, the number 24. And then that's kind of where I left it. Some of the ones that I'd like to have a few more, like mole rats, the version 1 mole rats, those have shot up to like over $40-$50. I can't do that. I won one recently in a thing for my brother Jeremy's Facebook group, The Pit. And yeah, oh, actually, I don't know if I said that on last week on the podcast. I won another contest in Jeremy's group. So I won, I think this is my third time. The first time I won 2 Python Patrol Vipers, 2 of the Python Patrol Troopers, and then like 2 Trouble Bubbles and 1 Televiper. And then the next time I won a in the box claw and in the box set of Valkyries, which I in turn wound up trading for a Range Viper, a Wolf Spider, 2 sets of the Twilight Guard, Steel Core Sentry Commander. So that was a win. Like that trade was money. I traded the Valkyries to one guy and the Claw to the other guy. And then last week I won my third contest. I won 3 complete Crimson Alley Vipers. So now I have 17 of those. So that takes second place for most. And listen, if it was feasible, I would actually buy. So this the 788 Fire Team, which is in essence it's repaints of the Range Viper, the Trooper, and the Infantryman, and they're dressed in those colors. But man, I freaking love those colors, dude. Like I don't know what. Yeah, this guy right here.
I had 2 sets and I sold one. I kind of regret it. Yeah, that looks awesome. I love the red and black.
I like the 788.
Put myself out there. So this one right here, this is one of my favorite classifieds. Period. This one is up there with the Alpha Commando, Snake Eyes, and Wolf Spider, and the Cobra Island Major Blood. Those are my ones. It's that Cobra Island Major Blood is so much better than just about every other one that they have. It's not even funny. I mean, there's plenty of other good ones, but the face sculpt on that Major Blood, the accuracy of the colors, like, they could have put colors on them and tried to soup it up, but they stuck to what was that original Major Blood that had the drab brown with just the black vest and the black arm. And I think that they did a killer job with that. Like they really nailed it. But now don't get me wrong. They remade that Major Blood, and I call him the 788 Major Blood. So to me, he looks like he belongs with that crew, right? The colorways are just like there's no way they didn't have that in mind. Now that we see the elite, the Elite Viper that's coming in the Stealth Trouble Bubble. That Stealth Trouble Bubble says 788 on it, which is awesome to hear. And then now one of the leaks that Mark from Destroys My Spirit Animal had was that they're doing a Stealth Claw. And so I'm under the impression that that's going to have 788 on too. That part I made up. Stealth Claw, gray and black. That's the information from Mark's Deep Throat. I'm throwing out over the top of it that I think it's going to say 788. So don't get that confused with what he did. But anyways, that Cobra Island Major Blood is insane. And one of the things that I'm actually going to show off real quick from Sys 3D Arsenal is actually CG. Why don't you get ready? I'll just show a couple of things from Sys 3D Arsenal. So this I didn't send him pictures of, but let's see here. So this right here is the Major Blood Mission Crate. So sys3darsenal.com. You can check out all the stuff. Now, don't mind, there's like some dust on this. I should have tried to clean it up. But his prints are super clean. Everybody knows I talk about it every week. But this Major Blood crate right here is
that's cool.
But here comes the coolest part. You can lift this tray, and there's this helmet with the grenade came out. Damn it. But yeah, so it is an incredible. It's one of the things I was waiting most for, because I'm going to do a whole photo shoot of the original Major Blood showing up in his uniform, and then Destro handing him, this crate, which doesn't have his clothes in it, obviously, but he's going to go behind the door and come out as the 788 Major Blood, and then it's going to be a whole series of shots. So this shit right here is absolutely insane. And despite, if you know the running joke about these missiles never staying in the backpack, Chris is the only one to make a thing that those missiles actually stay into. So it's worth its weight in gold. Let's see here. CG, if you want to share that page, I'll just go into the other Sys 3D Arsenal stuff. So I had recently just got a nice order from him, and my brother did not mess around like he usually does it, and he sent me something extra special, and I was very, very happy about this. Kind of ties into what we're saying here. So without further delay, we're going to add this to the stage. Boom. This is what my most recent order is. And as you can see, it's just a new series of laptop cases that he has and chemical cases. So the green one that you see in the middle, they'll be all open up in a second, but the green one is the Joe one. The Cobra is just a regular hiss. Those 4 boxes on the side, those are just ammo crates. You can get, I think it's 4 for a price, or you can get 2 of the bigger ones for a price. All the way on the left, those are just awesome jerry cans for gas. Now, what's not on the website is the one that has that awesome 788 on it right there. So he made that especially for me because I don't ever shut the fuck up about how much I'm obsessed with that sub team for sure. And so Chris, I can't thank you enough for that. Now these laptops, the handle that pull up, and they actually can be, they're perfectly scaled. They fit perfect in the hands. You can flap it up and it will lock the case. So it's on a hinge. It's got a lockable top that, for different purposes. And then boom, look at how awesome those laptops are. Now, if you've ever seen a in the field, laptop that actual Army people would use in the field, that is like it right there. So it's where everything is a little recessed. Everything looks extra rugged. And just like everything else with Chris's prints, it is just super clean, super durable, and you really get your money's worth. Now, also, that if you all the way on the left, that's the 788 one that's got what is in essence like a quick chemical refinement kind of thing. That insert comes out, and you'll be able to get other inserts of that size. So that is one of the modular abilities and greatness of that Sys 3D Arsenal stuff, is that boom, it just opens up like that, looks fantastic. My brother Chris, if you're watching or you happen to be seeing this on a replay, gang, I cannot thank you enough. Now, to really take a look, go to sys3darsenal.com. His website is beautiful. It looks fantastic. Use Destro Designs to get you 10% off in a promo code. Now, if you are on Etsy and you have Etsy Premium and you still get free shipping from that, you can order through Chris's Etsy and then take advantage of the free shipping. So that's just a little added bonus there. Destro Designs will get you 10% off on over at the Etsy as well. So don't be shy. And listen, there is a ton of stuff that dude makes that is absolutely fantastic. LP, do you fuck with anything like this? Do you get stuff like this?
Oh yeah, for sure. I got a bunch of weapons crates and barrels, and I mean
Nice.
all kinds of stuff. I've never bought from Sys 3D Arsenal, but I'm looking at his site right now.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, dude. And listen. So my favorite thing was the first thing I saw was the scrap iron mission crate. It comes with the 2 Vulcan cannons and then a separate empty tray, so you can take the 2 missiles out of scrap iron's drone, put them into the case that fits at the bottom, or the tray that fits at the bottom, and then the 2 Vulcan cannons go into the drone, and it turns the drone into just something completely different. Dude, I got so excited that I ordered that. I did like I did with the Alley Viper. I ordered that scrap iron, and then immediately was like, oh wait, does he have other stuff? And I went and I looked, and I immediately bought the Firefly mission crate, which allows you to put all of his stuff in these great things. Dude, not only is it good and helpful to store and organize your actual gear, it's freaking incredible to play with. Like, I never feel more like a kid than when I'm doing that. So something else, CG, do you have that last picture? The tan case with the insert. So something else that's new and coming up is he is making. Nope, not that one. That is. We'll talk about that one in a hot minute. Nope, that one right there. So what that one right there is a new insert for his medic cases. So he has a series of cases that basically are red and they have the big white on them. Like, they go great with Lifeline, obviously, but you can use them for, I think as you see here, he's got the brown that's going to go with a little more from Doc, right? So you can use this one right here with the Doc. And then you can also put that, you can just order just the insert and put it into one of the existing red ones that you have. Now, I have those red ones and I use it for, I put it in front of the firefighters, and not just Lifeline, but the firefighters too, or I put it, if I'm doing a shoot with like a Joe base, I always just stick one of those red ones back in there because everybody's got like a first aid kit, right? How are you going to save somebody if they get fucking shot? If you don't have anything to kind of do it like that. So that's fantastic. Yeah, so that, again, sys3darsenal.com, or you can go over to his Etsy store. On either site, make sure you are using Destro Design, or sorry, Destro Designs to get your 10% off. I always get them confused. The MOS Mind one has a 10 at the end of it, and so I always try to make sure I'm giving you the right one. Destro Designs, 10% off on sys3darsenal.com. And again, thank you, Chris, for sending me this glorious 788 set. Actually, I'm going to try to... I have it in my hand here. Let's try to shuffle this around. I'm becoming like a pro over here. I think I've done this before. So yeah, here's the 788 one in my hand. I absolutely love it. And like I said, so here's the handle, but when you flip that handle up, it locks. See, I can't even open that now. I don't know what that's good for. I just think it's awesome that it works, right? Commander Unicron in the house. Thank you for joining us, my brother. I appreciate it. I think I saw my boy Big Red. Big Red is here. Thank you so much for coming, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Largo, A1R42. I don't have my glasses on, so this is like struggling. Give myself a migraine trying to read. One of the other perks of being on. Hey, speaking of the devil, there's Chris from Sys3D Arsenal now. So we just got done going over your stuff, brother. I couldn't say thank you enough. So as you something else that I didn't have a picture of, but I will show. So this is like a different style crate, which I'm obsessed with these. So this, as much as I love the original style of crate, you know, this looks very much like something that a modern day military would use, like a painted kind of metal. But this right here, right? This has got the wood planks going one way. Then you have the ones that tie it together. There's even the nice little, if you see the little rivets kind of that are in there, or screws, or whatever you want to, you want to imagine that they are. The handle's still recessed. Now, this one here, I don't have an insert tray in it yet because I have a bunch of stuff to swap around. And but that's what makes it beautiful, is that you can order the empty ones and use it to, with some of the inserts that you've already bought. And then you have this right here. So that right there is one of the newer ones that I'm obsessed with. So I have a bunch of green stuff that goes in the Joe base. I have a bunch of blue stuff that goes with the blue Cobras. I have a bunch of the black stuff that goes with the His Fire team. And then there's a whole box of stuff of random doorways and barrels, and he has the new safety setup where there's ballards, clipboards, and safety cones. It's really one of those things that if you are buying these items that are in such a range for your budget, there's always something that you can get that you can put into your toy photography that it changes the game, right? I like to think that Matt from MOS Mind and Chris, they've changed how people are able to take photographies with the stuff that they made. And I think that that's fantastic. So again, sys3darsenal.com or over at Etsy. And then that is that you use the Destro Designs to get you 10% off. And that's what's up.
You can build a whole base on his website. He's got walls and doors and racks, toolkits.
Yep. So actually,
this is cool. Cool stuff.
Real quick, I'll show off this tool. I do have this right here. One more thing. So the walls and floor, I'm definitely getting into that. I've been eyeing it and thinking how I want to, just because to make a quick, easy dial. So this comes in two parts. So you can just have like a rolling tool chest that with a workspace, or that you can buy this to go on a table, or you put them together and then, and then just like a two mechanic set, you got that opens up on the top. All of them open and close, various sizes. I have one for Cobras, and it holds all the Techno Viper stuff, all the wrenches and hammers, but especially like the big ones, man. And as much as it's for playability, you can really store your shit in here. It really helps with that. Instead of the stuff just like flying around all over the place, it's really helpful. And some of like the armament stuff that he has, like this is like an open top. The open top stuff is cool. Here's some of these, you just leave them around base. If you have short fuse, and this right here, short fuse only comes with one single mortar. And this one right here, you got this, you take that top off. There you go. Boom. Perfect. Now,
Nice.
From what I understand too, this is an accurate shape, scale, and color. So the yellow stripe connotes high explosive. So we had a guy that was in the chat last week talking about that. I thought it was pretty cool. And I know my dude G.I. Dave has mentioned some of that stuff about it, the accuracy of it too. But I absolutely love this stuff. And again, all the different price ranges, like you can't go wrong. So let me see here. Boom. And we'll switch this back for a second. So, yeah, I mean, do you do any photography, LP? Do you mess around with any of that?
I have years ago, but it's been so long. It's probably been 5 years since I've had
Well,
time.
for sure, for sure. And it's, dude, it's a lot. Like if you're a crazy person like me, it's real difficult for me to just like I love and envy the people that'll just take two figures, put them on their coffee table, make a pose, and take a picture because that's
Yeah.
nice. You're sitting down, you're just chilling. Me, when I first started, the first thing that I did, my real first shoot was I built a fucking jungle down in my basement. It was 4 foot wide, 4 foot deep, 8 feet wide. It was like 5 feet high. I built a concrete running river. It was multi-leveled. I went out.
Took you about 15 minutes to do that, right?
Oh my god! I wish. Actually, it wasn't. I did do a video on my Destro Designs Instagram. There is a video where it shows me cutting all the wood and kind of putting it together. And what the problem actually was is when I needed to get rid of it because I finished that whole side of the basement where that was, and when I went to go bring it out, I realized that I couldn't even carry it with the concrete and all the shit that I put together down here. I was like, I can't carry this outside. Literally, not even two people could because the shape of it was so long, it wasn't going to fit up the stairs, and it was heavy as shit. Dude, I had to bring my hammer drill and break up the riverbed and take it out in multiple boxes. That's so. Now the good thing is that I had an incredible amount of great pictures that came from it. I did a whole series for MOS Mind about his, the outpost and the Merc, which is his. It's the night landing in Joe colors. He does the blue color too, and that's what I was doing it for. And then before I broke it down, I was like, man, I really got to do at least one more shoot on this. And so it was cool enough. I switched the stuff around the configuration, and then I had Python Patrol. That's where I put Python Patrol out there. Did a real cool video with some Pantera music on it. And I thought it looked good. A lot of people don't like Python Patrol like I do. I don't know what it is. I just think it's awesome. Like
to me, like the Trouble Bubble from Python Patrol, it looked like a McDonald's something. Like the colors are the yellow and the red.
So I absolutely do not disagree that the Trouble Bubble looks very. That's so funny that you say that. Oh my god, it very much looks like McDonald's toy.
Yeah.
But I couldn't quite put my finger on that, but I did think that it looked more like a cheap toy than the regular Trouble Bubble. Right, the regular one was cool. I think it's awesome. There is something about that now. The reason I got my first Python Patrol Trouble Bubble was because Gridiron makes that it's a set of legs and arms that you slide this thing into, and that thing is pretty awesome. So I did pick that up, and I do like the way that looks. And it seemed like every time I bought a lot of Python Patrol stuff, there was always two Trouble Bubbles. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 of them, right? And one of them is in the thing. And when you put all 8 of them lined up in a row with the Televipers milling around, it adds some legitimacy to what I completely agree with. When you hold it like this to look at, you're like, why does that look so cheap? Or I wouldn't know what's the word I'm looking for here, but it was definitely something like that. Pop Cold Frenzy in the house. What's up, my brother? Oh, so LP, you are on Twitter, and you need to be following this gentleman right here, Pop Cold Frenzy. And I say that because the service he provides our community on the timeline is he is constantly putting out, every post he makes is where to find the latest deal on G.I. Joe Classified, Marvel Legends, any of the toy lines that are out right now, and including, basic stuff that is popular. Like we have a thing that's called the figure count. So I started buying so many figures from his links that I started making I was counting them, and I was like, well, let's see how many we can get. We currently just went past figure count number 150. That's how many figures I have bought from his links because of the endless way he provides all the different info. So, and he's a stand-up guy. One of the first people I got close with when I started this little GI journey, and he's been incredibly helpful. Donated to the giveaway at Christmas time. Solid dude, and just worth it for the money that you saved. It's ridiculous.
I just followed him.
Oh, great, you're the man. I appreciate it. 610 Yojo Daddy in the house. He says, "What's up, Destro? What's up, LP? What's up, CG? Hope you all doing well. What's up, chat? Smash that like button, subscribe. Thanks for coming through, brother. I appreciate it." He's really 6'10" too. I saw some pictures on YouTube.
Yeah.
He went to one of the cons. Big boy. Very good. Well, welcome in, my brother. I'm glad you made it. So I think, why I'm talking about all this other stuff, I think I want to jump right into what we're revealing for my brother Matt from MOS Mind. So, like I said earlier, everybody knows MOS Mind for the Atlas, this big honking beast right here, which is just amazing. That's like my favorite thing. The Outpost, everything he makes is modular. It goes together like this thing right here. This is the arc cannon. It
That's
can
cool.
stand alone. So all his stuff has these ends, right? So this right here, boop, you take that off, and then there's a female piece. So the Outpost it's a 2-tab, and so they would go together, and you put the pin back in. So then you could move the stuff all over the place. It's absolutely amazing. So
Cool.
let's see. Without further ado, CG, do you mind pulling up the new stuff
ready.
that's in the?
It's ready. Uh-oh. I think we lost him.
Oh, yeah, he froze.
Oh, there we go.
He's back.
Nice. That's what's up. All right, so that's not the right one. So what you're about to see here is, why is it not showing? There we go. So MOS Mind has made slings. Now this is going to be part of something that is a whole new line of stuff. So what you see there is a 2-point sling slung together to make a 1-point sling. So if what you see there, the bottom loop. Now, CG, do you want to jump to the one with the trench viper, because you can see it where it's got the actual?
It is right here.
That's the Crimson Viper. Didn't I send you one with the trench viper?
No, you didn't. No.
Oh, my bad. Well, that sucks. So what I can do then is, let's see. All right. So why don't you go to the package then, and I'll show the trench viper myself. So here we go. What you see there, that is the new line from MOS Mind called MAGS. And that is MOS Mind's Armament and Gear Systems. Now, this is the first offering from it. There's going to be lots of other stuff, including web gear, actual weapons. There's a lot coming down the line. But my brother understood that there is a massive void for these slings right now. There's nothing. Dude, I was even grabbing these different materials. Like I bought this roofing felt and was cutting it in strips because I could melt it together. So I was just like wrapping it around the gun, slinging it over my guy, and then using something like a hot iron to melt it, and then sliding the melting part out of the picture, right? Just so I could do something, because to me, there's nothing cooler than taking a picture of a guy who's got his weapon, his primary slung like right down the front of him, and then he's doing something else with his hands, even if it's loading his secondary, or if he's got he's wiring an explosive in his hands or something like that. So take a good look here. This is what the new packaging looks like. When you order those slings, that's what they're going to come up with. So he sent me a few of them. I played with them. They are tough. They are durable. I cannot wait to get more. And just on a quick suggestion, I told him to make it a little bit longer. Let's see. I just published a listing if you want photos from the Etsy site. Yeah. So if anybody wants to grab that and put that up, you can show that. Nice. So yeah, it is fantastic. They're fantastic. They look amazing. They're scaled perfectly. And, I feel like even if you're not doing toy photography, even if you're just doing, setting up your stuff on a display, I think there's probably ones that maybe you want to have like that, right? So there we go. Very good.
That's awesome. I'm surprised there's no like Hasbro or anyone hasn't done stuff like this.
So
Gridiron try it, but it came out really bad.
Yeah. And then they just started putting rubber bands on shit. Like I ordered this one. Well, dude, I was, I ordered this urban sniper with a backpack, a bit of soft goods, a sniper, pew pew, and then a Mac 11. And the Mac 11 had a rubber band on it. And when I put it on there, it was like, it looks like a fucking rubber band. You know what I mean? Like, why do I want to have it there if it's going to look like, but the stuff that he's got right here, brother, is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So everybody be ready for the toy photography that is about to happen. Now, Matt did a pretty good job himself right here, if you ask me. I think that this looks fantastic. But it's a void that definitely is now filled, and I think that the price is just right. If I remember correctly, I believe my man said $19.99 for 3. It says they come with it threaded with a loop that slides over each end and you can tighten. So basically, the way that it sits, so there in that picture right there, what you see is the basic way you would use in a 2-point, right? You can have it up in the front and then loop down and attach into the stock, which is fine because then you can sling it over your back. But to have that look of somebody that's a door kicker, that they've got it tight to their body, where it sits right in the one way where you can grab and definitely lift. Definitely call sign smash is definitely ordering a few. Good work, man. Ortizio says this is so perfect. MOS Mind says this is a real tri-glide, just very small, so you can thread it like a real sling if you like, right? Which means you're able to go up and over and then back through again, right? And have the loop. That's what creates the loop on it. So real quick, what I want to show you guys is this. I want to show you the trench viper that I got. So hold on, let me change the layout and so here's how I got it with the trench viper. You can see how it's awesome. Just kind of hanging out there. He's got his hand on the end of it, which gives it that little bit of an angle look. But so what I'm definitely going to be doing is, I kind of teased it a little earlier when I was showing the sign from GI Customs, but this right here this is what I've been looking for. This is what I wanted in my toy photography. I wanted it to be able to sit like that. And and considering that it is, doesn't have, now when the military has these, they don't roll around the actual thing. There's a clip that clips to the weapon, which requires, the weapon to have the spot to make the clip. So it's impossible to make it like that. And if you ask me, this is the next best thing. And dude, I didn't have any problem getting it to work on like any other thing. The tri-glide zips so well. That's where you can see the piece right here. The tri-glide moves so well on all the different weapons that I had put them on. I thought it looked amazing. I did it with a Joe Trooper. I just grabbed a bunch of random ones. And what's awesome is the adjustments that you can make. So every figure has different shit all around here, right? And depending on what you got, you can loosen certain points or tighten certain points. There's also a third tri-glide that you can move just up and down to utilize it to catch on other parts of like the chest rig to get it to sit right where you want it. So yeah, listen, I hope y'all are as excited about this as I am because cool. I fucking love it. Let me get back to the layout there. All right, nice, very good. So that's what's up there. Couple more quick things that I just wanted to give a shout out to. Like I had said earlier, my brother Chaz had sent this wonderful sign. Make sure you're checking him out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. That's GI Customs, at GI Customs. I absolutely love this brother. Thank you so much. And on Twitter, we have a gentleman. He just has a very small Etsy store, and he likes to have some stuff that is, let's see, where you go. He had given me this Cobra coaster that was part of a Serpentor line. So this is actually one of one that I have. I think that's pretty cool. And homeboy sent me 4. These are water cans. So I've got nice gas cans, from Sis 3D Arsenal that I love. But he made actual water cans with the water top. That looks, they're scaled down just a little bit different, something very cool. So I just wanted to shout those guys out. But listen, whole new line of stuff from MOS Mind. I hope that was exciting for y'all as it was for me when the stuff showed up. Make sure you're going. I put the link to Nat's Etsy in the show notes, and you want to use Destro Designs 10 over there to get yourself 10% off from any of the stuff that he has. And remember, he's not going away from the play sets or the vehicles. He's still continuing to develop new play sets, new vehicles, still pumping out all the hits, the ones that you find over on his Etsy. You don't have to worry about that. He's diversifying his bonds. There's a broadening his budget. He wants to be able to get your business from the lower end of the spectrum all the way up to the higher end. And let me tell you, it's from the minute I saw his Outpost stuff, I reached out to him and I was like, dude, you're the guy. you can make the cool. You gotta let me take some pictures and show everybody. Like people, how is it that I've been collecting for this long and I'm just now seeing one of these and nobody else says like I've seen any of these floating around. Let's get the circle of wagons and get these out here. And my brother trusted me enough to get the word out there, and he's really everything has worked out real well. People have showed up and shown out, and I love it. So Matt says added about a 1/2 inch since those. So on the thicker figures, you can still get a good hang. Yeah. So I had a little bit of trouble, not trouble, but I had to really work it to get it where I wanted because it was just shy. So the way he had originally designed the sling, it was to kind of just go over the shoulder, be on the stock, and then be on like the barrel. And if you want to do it where you can just put one loop through the other, it takes 2 seconds. And that's what gives you that single point of attachment on there. And to me, that's where it's at. I think it looks good. So literally within, I think when I was having a conversation with Matt, I was like, yeah, man, I think I'd add a little bit here on this. That way it'll fit both. You can cinch it on the smaller figure. It was like 20 minutes later. He sent me a picture and he was like, how about this? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's it. We got it. Done deal. So MOS Mind Custom.Design. Over on Etsy, the link in the show notes, Death Show Designs 10 gets you 10% off. So thank you so much. Now, I know I had talked about pickups, and that is largely mine. I talked about, there was one thing. There was a gentleman, Spec Ops Toys, made this for me, and I couldn't say no. I don't get vehicles from anybody besides Mo generally, but this gentleman was very much like, take a look at this, and I need this for my Rattler to tow it around. So this is the bomb disposal unit. He does it in Joe Green. It's actually pretty cool. You can tell it's 3D printed, right? But the colors are nice. And doing a little bit of toy photo, what I want to do is take this and then somehow get the front wheel of the Rattler up on here and have it taxi the Rattler out of the hangar, onto the runway as the Baroness and Wild Weasel are walking up. And also, I can make it look like this bomb is turbo. I can have 2 bats trying to load it on there. The toy photography is going to be endless. What is also cool is you can order more of these and just add more of them on. So you could tow, a whole train full if you wanted. Quick note, there was an antenna on here, and 5 minutes before we started, I moved around a little bit and I snapped the motherfucker off. But it looks great. Yeah, everything is nice. It's got the Rattler kind of stickers on there, or not the stickers, but the symbols, and even the Cobra with wings, little symbols. So cool. Love that. And then one other thing that I wanted to show off before I let you guys get out of this, I showed it on the show last week, but it's worth it again since I know you're a connoisseur of good toys, my brother. This was given to me by my brother G.I. Dave. This is a 12-inch 1/6 scale version 4 Snake Eyes, and it's my only 1/12 scale that I have. But dude, I think this is almost my favorite version of Snake Eyes.
Is that Sideshow or is that a custom?
This is 3.0.
Oh, 3.0. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. It is. So it came with multiple hands, so you could hold a bunch of stuff. It comes with 2 swords. Look at how awesome these are. Got a nice little bevel to it in there.
Nice.
Handle's great.
Is it die cast?
No, it's plastic, but it's nice. Like
the
it's just
is real good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just like the way it sits. You can see just enough sticking out of the back. He comes with it. Now, what's insane to me is, I don't want to show this too much, but this stock does open up, and also on his Beretta, it slides. Like you can. Boop.
Nice.
And whatchamacallit comes out if I can get my big goofy fingers. But yeah, look at that, with a nice little paint app on the end of it there. How awesome is that? So, it's little things like that that are dope. Thank you again to G.I. Dave for not only sending this over. Actually, so he bought himself one and sent this one to me, and we opened it at the same time on the show. Was that last week? I think that was last week. But yep, there it is. Like, these all move a little bit. It really opened. The soft goods are freaking undefeated. I love the knee pads, the shoulder pads, like everything about it. My brother Kalel 327, who is our carded king, because he quite literally has everything on card still somehow. Like whenever somebody shows a picture of a figure, he'll respond in the comments with a picture of him with it on card, which is just amazing. And he had that. He brought that one out, and I was like, dude, I don't have any 12-inch figures, but look at how awesome that is. And I just basically, I mentioned it. And again, GI Dave coming through in the clutch. So I just wanted to show that off again real quick. And, oh, wait, I did get, you might have saw it in the picture for the promo shot I did for tonight. I got the hood. So same gentleman, Dan Salsato, he bought, this comes with one of the Soldiers of Fortune. He got those guys with the suits so he could put the Tomax and Zaymont heads on that one. And he had an extra one of these. So he sent it up with some other stuff. So dude, how awesome is that? Like, cool. We need it. We need it. You know, Mark did a great video on it the other day about, is this racist? And it's like, obviously no, right? No. Doesn't look anything like what people were trying to say it is. And it was even, you know, everybody weighed in on that on the timeline, like maybe a couple weeks ago, I think, or was it even last week? And even people who, you know, you would consider to be the people that would be offended by something like that were like, this is ridiculous. Please stop. Nobody thinks this is racist. Like, stop making excuses and don't say that we think it's racist because it's not racist. So very, very good. And hopefully we get one of those sometime in the near future on that. But that is it for my pickups. LP, what you got, brother?
I got in the newest Ghost Rider.
Ooh.
From Legends, the more classic look.
Oh shit.
Okay.
And then I got
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean I like the old school Johnny Blaze, you know, with the red bike and.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ooh. Very cool. I got
the almost complete Astonishing X-Men roster now. Just need armor, which they'll likely never do, but I got Colossus and Kitty Pryde, and then
very cool.
This might be something you recognize here. I got Zap in.
Ooh, okay. Very nice, very nice. That's people love or hate that figure. People think it's the most boring thing ever, or they think it's totally awesome. I like it.
I like it. I like the troopers, you know. And I'll tell you what's not boring is Acid Rain. I don't know if you collect Acid Rain.
I'm about to.
Ooh.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Damn. That thing was badass.
Like I got the batteries now to put in because all the headlights and everything light up. The headlights and the brake lights light up. This thing, dude, the engine is all mechanical. Like it works. Like
oh wow,
you can't start it up, but like you know everything spins. You can look under here as I turn the wheels. You see the gears working.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's wild. Like the steering wheel turns the wheels in the front. You know. I turn the steering wheel. I'll turn the wheels.
Now, is that about the same price as Fans Hobby?
So this is the Fans Hobby mold. They lease the mold or whatever, and this is $120.
That's not a lot of money for that. I think.
No.
I feel like that's an insane deal.
It's on pre-order on. You know, Big Bad has the exclusive here in the States for Acid Rain, at least 112. And so this is still on pre-order on Big Bad. And then the figures that go with it, the Acid Rain figures are awesome. They're like futuristic.
I think it looks, listen, when I obviously G.I. Joe is where it's at, but when I see people see like something like this, where they're taking the sci-fi elements of what G.I. Joe is, but staying military adjacent and doing it, I did do that Acid Rain stuff. There's a few things that are catching my eye that I can't help but I can only look away for so long, right? And those Acid Rain figures, that vehicle right there, it's that kind of shit that's really catching it. That those Joy Toy figures will kind of remind me
rubber tires too.
Yep.
Wow,
the Joy
I guess I'm
Toy
gonna
is
have to
cool.
order it.
If Joy Toy goes 112, I'm in big trouble because those are awesome.
Yes. No, I see. So my brother Kalel, again, he's in the chat here. Carded King, he dabbles into all these different lines, and he's got the Joy Toy, the Acid Rain, and the other thing that he has is the Haya Exquisite GI Joes, which they're like 4-inch. And have you seen those fucking things?
So their design for the Cobra Viper is the best looking Cobra Viper ever. I wish they would make it in 6-inch. They probably can't, but their Cobra Viper is awesome.
I'll even say their Cobra Trooper is really good with the bluish gray and white camo pattern that he has on his pants.
I agree. Dude, the Alley Viper, has just enough subtle changes. Like there's a bit more black. The orange is still true orange. The blue is a little bit closer to navy than light blue, and there's a bit more black on them. And oh god, the major blood looks so good. Like it's just those are the one that's gonna be the one that breaks me. I know our brother Riptide O'Leary got like freaking 25 of them at once, which is amazing. But every one of those that I look at that I see that comes out, I go, oh my god, if I buy one, where does it end? Right? Like
I know, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the problem of all our lives, right? It's where do you draw the line? Do I want to open that door? Do I want to open that Pandora's box to finding it out? Because it's as much as I love classified, it's not going to go on forever, right? And
I mean, there's a lot out there, and even if you don't, you can't go in on everything. Right. And if you feel like you're missing out on something, you're probably not, because it'll get made again. Especially now, everything is getting made over and over and over. I mean, look at Classified. A lot of Classified is just remakes of a real American hero.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So there will be another version eventually. So
that sounds right.
I'm trying to be better at picking and choosing and not thinking that I have to complete a line.
Very good.
That's like the illness. That's part of the illness.
Yes.
Like I need the complete set,
Yes.
There's so much who can do that besides Woody 222,
Yeah, right. There's only one. Big Red says, Destro Designs, have you seen the Splinter Cell figure? So I don't know. Did they actually release any pictures of that? Because I know that there was I think there might have been a render, but I don't know if how.
Well, Bobby has a license. He's doing Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell.
I'm so excited about. So there's two video games that I'm maybe not G.I. Joe level obsessed, but right there, and that would be Splinter Cell and Metal Gear. For whatever reason, those like that Metal Gear shit. So I know that they did make 112 figures for Metal Gear years ago, a long time ago, and they're very difficult to find.
The one he's talking about is like an import figure. I don't know what company it is. It might be Figma or something, but it's like it to me it looks like an SH Figure Arts. It looks really good, like what they've shown.
Okay. CG. It looks like Big Red put it on the timeline. So if you can, and he tagged me. So if you can find that, I'd like to see that. So I mean, did you ever play the game LP Splinter Cell? Did you ever?
No, I never played it. No.
Okay, it's awesome, and the uniform that he had was an all black like sneaking suit. That famous logo is where he's got the tri. The headset. But he also had this weapon that looked kind of like a P90, but it was chambered in 5.56, and it had this little launcher that would launch like these sticky cans or like little smoke things or little zappers. So I feel like with how good Bobby does extras and all that kind of stuff, like I feel like there's a world where that shit gets pretty off the hook pretty quick. My whole thing is that I hope it sells well so they can fuck around and do more, right?
Oh, I think it will. That's just me. I see a lot of people very excited about the Splinter Cell figure, and also World War II. But if Sam Fisher does well, I think the license allows him to do more than just one.
Because it's Metal Gear was a game that had a sci-fi element, as just like G.I. Joe to a degree. Splinter Cell was much more based completely in like a reality type of thing, and I don't know, I absolutely loved it. But yeah, the Splinter Cell really had me. I think it's like the first 3 games are totally off the hook, and then they got into the one. It's I think it's called Double Agent, and they had him like in plain clothes doing shit, and it lost me. Right, like I need the sneaking suit. Like I don't want to play a video game where there's a guy in jeans. I don't know, for some reason it's just not the one. Sister Arsenal says, can we get a cardboard box disguise? So there is it's up right now for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know what company is making it, but it is a Metal Gear. He's in I think it's the Snake Eater sneaking suit. From Delta, they just remade it to call it Delta, but the original for PlayStation 2 was Snake Eater. And he's got the black sneaking suit, and it comes with the cardboard box.
I think that's the amazing Yamaguchi Reveltech. Is who's doing that one? Yeah,
that sounds familiar. That and dude, it was $100, and I was like, oh fuck! And at the time, I was like, I don't think I want to spend that right now.
Yeah.
I just fucking A. So let's see. Matt says, Tim, thank you so much. So did we? So Tim Taser, I just ordered a bunch of slings from MOS Mind. Thank you for the discount and showing me them. Excellent. Paying dividends already. Thank you so much. You'll be very happy with your purchase. And listen, I go on every show about Matt from MOS Mind and Chris from Sister Arsenal, not just because I love their products, but also because they're really great guys. And my toy photography has gotten better. When I reach out and I say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Like I did a whole shoot called the Cobra Claw. Like I was saying, LP, built that whole jungle for a bunch of MOS Mind stuff. And then I did another shoot called the Cobra Claw launching facility that I did with all Sister Arsenal stuff, where I don't know how much you can see it, but there's a whole locker set up behind this here, right up in here. And that's all right there. That is all Sister Arsenal stuff. And like you said, you were looking at the website with the floors.
So I'm looking at MOS Mind's Etsy store right now, and he has. In fact, I'm sharing my screen. He has this helicopter.
Oh, yep.
Which is rad. Like
that'll be coming soon. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Yes.
This has like every feature that I want on a helicopter. It's got the side gunner with the minigun. It's got the cable on both sides, right? Like so you can have a dude like rappelling down.
Yep.
Like Chuck Norris missing in action with
Yes.
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. Like this is really cool.
I think there's a gunner on each side.
Yeah.
I think, and the winch is on
Looks
each
like
side.
the chairs swivel.
Yep.
Like everything. That's cool, man.
It's fucking
cool
awesome.
Design.
It really is.
At that.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Dude, that was like I always had a figure like sliding down a rope when I was a kid. A zip line or rappelling down, that's cool. Yeah,
it's undefeated. Cool. Like I remember rolling through and seeing all this stuff for the first time. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, look at that color, man. Look at how fucking awesome that color is. Again, also completely awesome. Fucking A.
He makes cool stuff, man.
I like his other jet. The jet that he makes with the it's like a VTOL.
Oh, the Raptor.
The Raptor.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
That is so Matt likes to make obvious G.I. Joe adjacent stuff, but he wants it to kind of stand alone. You know what I mean? Like it's he doesn't want it to be like, oh, that's his version of the blah blah blah. And I think that with the Raptor, obviously, other than the VTOL, like the vertical lift situation that it has, I think it stands on its own, and I think it's incredible. But this fucking thing right here, that helicopter is insane. What he also takes into consideration is for a lot of stuff that he makes the design is like the toy photography aspect of things, meaning like you can get the figures in and out of there easily, right? The whole front of the Atlas opens up so you can put the figures in there. Just to kind of show it, like here. Since we're talking about it, I'll show it real quick. Let me put me on the big screen. I feel so fancy doing all this stuff around. So
yeah, that thing's rad.
Yeah, the design on the front is what got me at first, right? I thought it looked so badass. It looks like a battering ram at the same time as being like, we got the undercarriage. There's a lot. I can't turn it upside down, but there's a lot of detail in that. Well, obviously you got a little hatch, but what I was saying was the whole front of it opens up like this.
Oh, perfect.
So you obviously, you can do the doors, right? But when you imagine trying to stick, I don't know about you, I got some big ass goofy hands. I didn't get a figure in there to look right. So you go like this, boom, and now you can get everything set exactly how you want it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of screens one is for the gunner, one is for the driver. And the screens on the inside, he sends this little template so you can print stuff out on the stickers and then use the template to cut the perfect size for the screens that are in there. There's right behind each seat, there's a small gun rack for your primaries. You take this off. the detail in the back of this is just undefeated. It's got a giant bulkhead door. Like, just look at all the detail. Forget about it.
That's that's pretty cool.
There's nothing like this on the market right now.
And it's bigger than the Hiss.
Oh my God,
right?
It swallows the Hiss. It in every direction, up, down, left, right, all of it. It eats it alive. It's not even close. This is one of my favorite functions. Is there's 4 seats, so you can sit people and take a shot going in, and it looks incredible. Or you can fold these up, and then one of the cool. It comes with this little bad boy here. I'll just do this real quick, and I'm not going to take all the snake armors down because it just takes forever. But when I do this, and this, I can stand 3 snake armors on here, like comfortably. You know what I mean? It's insane. So it's this is my brother's magnum opus for sure. But that helicopter that you brought up is 100% the shit for sure. Cannot go wrong with it. And when you think about buying something big like this, and you're like, oh man, that's kind of an investment. You would be correct. And my brother Matt has said before, he's like, I know I have to earn that space on your shelf. You know what I mean? Like, he knows you're making an investment. It's the space, it's the money, it's the whole thing. And I love his attitude towards that. So definitely anything you get from any of my brothers, you definitely
his Raptor has a really cool stand. So it's like
flying
there.
It's actually hold on, let me put you back up there. Hold on, I gotta remove it and then put it back on. There we go, I think. Oop, what happened? Add to stage. There we go. Yep. So how awesome is that, right?
That's really cool.
Shit. And I love the propulsion. Like those are just, I mean, it just looks so damn good. You know what I mean? Sister Yarson says, I've seen his stuff creeping into Reddit posts. Oh, nice. That's what's up. That's when you know you've made it over there. That's my favorite.
It reminds me of like a Skyhawk, but also like the vehicles from Avatar.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, dude, you're not lying. That sounds about right. But yeah, dude, that it is, like I said, you can say that initial look, you're like, oh, is that knowing that he makes G.I. Joe stuff, it's like, oh, that must be his version of the VTOL or the Skyhawk. And sure, I bet when Hasbro inevitably drops the Skyhawk, well, I say inevitably, but hopefully they get one. It's not going to look as cool as this. Now, it's going to look nostalgic because it's going to look like the original one, but it ain't going to have this kind of detail. It's not going to have this kind of flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the G.I. Joe stuff is cool, but when you look at some of the other stuff that these people are printing, like the what you just held up, LP, is that the Locust? Is that what they're calling? Is that what that one is? The Acid Rain? Is that one?
Oh no, this I think it's called the Locust. I think
the Locust. So it's things like that stand out as yes, it may not be backed by the nostalgia, but it looks like the coolest fucking thing you've ever seen. So absolutely amazing. And now, even though that color is explodes off the screen, and it may not be what somebody wants, but
it matches the Trooper, so that's kind of cool.
It's so dope. It's so dope. That's a Techno Viper all fucking day.
Yeah.
And now that coloring is amazing. That's that Iron Grenadier Destro. That just I mean, the red with the black, the gold is perfect. It's not a gold color. It looks like gold, if that makes any sense. There was a gentleman who got an Atlas in those colors, and it looked freaking amazing. A lot of black, just the right amount of gold, a little bit of red here and there. And this is where it's at for me. Oh, and to be noted for everybody, this Raptor is available in 1/18 scale. So he always said, he's like, I didn't really want to mix and match too much, but if somebody asked me to make one, I maybe make something, I'd have to think about it. And I swear to God, I think it was like right after we had that conversation, Matt, right? Somebody reached out and was like, can you make me this in 3 3/4 scale? And he's like, hell yeah. So that one right there is available in the 3 3/4. Yeah, it just looks so fucking awesome. And, a lot of the stuff too, like that right there is probably shelf friendly, so to speak.
Especially with the stand.
Right. Right. And same thing with, all the other stuff that he has too. Like I'm sure you've probably seen it on their LP, the Outpost. So that's the first thing that I saw from his stuff was the Outpost. And the color was perfect. The structure of it, also another thing too about Matt from MOS Mind stuff is that it's all gridiron compatible, right? So if there's anywhere that you see a weapon, you can take that weapon out, and there's a spot right there for gridiron stuff. I actually have a gridiron weapon. Yep. So that's the bar. I actually have that one right there in Cobra Blue and Joe Blue or Joe Green, which is dude. So what he has there is there's 4 panels on there's 2 panels on each side of that main gunning area, and it's all swivel. You can move it all the way around, or you can take the pins out and lessen it or make more. So like I could take that right there and take the panels off, one side, put this so you had 2 gunning stations right next to each other, and then put the other 2 panels on the other side of this, forming
cool.
this amazing thing to to play with. That kind of modular ability is important to me, because then now also once you've spent this money, you're not just getting this one thing, right? You can take it apart and put it back together in different ways. You can make something new every time you go to play with it, right? And I think that's where you really get your your money for that today. Orsino says, I'll just send him stuff to print and pay him. Well, listen, I mean, I'm sure he'd be willing to work something out. I know that he does it like unbelievable. Let's see. I need to steal my father-in-law's 3D printer. He doesn't use it much. Well, there you go. CG Horror, actually, he's the gentleman that got me set up with a 3D printer. I printed a bunch of stuff from Sys 3D Arsenal. Some of this stuff right here, so here's some of his armory stuff. Now, please, everybody remember, I printed and painted this shit. That's why it looks like ass. Chris's stuff is super clean and looks fantastic. So just print it up. I spray painted, little spray paint, and I did a bunch of them. So every so this is for the Joes. I've got a bunch of black and red ones for the his team. I don't have it set up yet, but I got Alley Viper colors. Boom, boom. So I love
Nice.
it. Home Depot has the perfect dark blue, and the orange is like an almost exact match. The only problem is you got to do so many layers of the orange, because whatever color, even if it's gray, it really wants to bleed through. So you got to put it on there kind of heavy. So, but yeah. Thank you for pulling those pictures out. That looks fantastic. And do you fuck with any customs? Do you paint anything up? You go hard with any of that stuff?
Mostly just kit bashing. I've done very little painting, and I mean, I've customized some vehicles in years past. Not a ton.
That's what's up. Now, Chris from Sys3 Arsenal says you could just print it in on orange. This is correct, brother. And so anything that either of these gentlemen make, that if they make a filament in it, they will make it that color for you. And Chris, a lot of that was the only reason that I printed it. I was like, oh, I bought this 3D printer. Maybe I could save a couple bucks or whatever. Right. So I would have to get that orange, and it basically all that's. So I actually was using the 3D printer for quite a while. And then one of the times I had to change the print screen, I was kind of like, you know what? I think I'm just going to wait a little while. And I think I'm going to wait to see it. Wait to change this, and I'll get some more stuff. But now I have a bunch of files of little electrical panels and basic stuff that you would see in an alley, right? If you're walking down an alley, stuff that you would see. Now, as a contractor, I have access to piping and wiring and all kinds of shit that I've been throwing in a bunch of boxes for the past year. So anytime I want to do something like that, I have the real thing. But there's so much that I'm finding that printing it is not only looks better, it is easier and faster than me rummaging through the thing. I don't have time to go sit out there and try to customize all this stuff. So that's what does it for me for sure. These guys have been great for my toy photography. Tim Taser says, DD, I've seen you on FFC before. This is the first time watching your stream. You got energy, brother. Well, thank you. Yes, we are now seeing as how we had this conversation, royalties will go to LP, CG, and the gentleman that said it earlier, I think that was Super Lunch. So we're all getting down on bottling this up. Just remember to read your disclaimer. There may be some very undesirable side effects that comes with that energy, but we'll see what happens, brother. I appreciate it.
I do need to get going.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I hate to cut you off, but yeah,
No, that's fine.
I got the family yelling at me. I
No,
gotta take
for
them out to dinner. So
no, absolutely, brother. No, listen.
let me just say thank you. Thank you for having me on. This is fun.
Absolutely.
And let's do it again sometime.
For sure, brother. You are the best. And again, Wednesdays, 9:00 is the midweek mayhem. Saturdays at 8:00, that's Eastern Standard Time, is the regular show for the week. And I love them both. They're both excellent. Again, thank you so much for coming on, my brother, and we will talk again soon.
Hey, real quick, LP, are you going for the Fans Fest in October?
That's up in the air for me right now. I really want to go.
Yeah.
But I'm making a trip out there in November already, so I'm going to try to squeeze both of them in, but undecided right now.
Cool.
Nice.
I'm thinking I'm going to go too. I'm not sure yet, but yeah. You see a guy looks like John Goodman and Chris Farley combined. That's me.
All right, man.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's good talking to you, CJ.
Yeah, good talking to you.
All right,
Thanks
later,
again,
guys.
brother. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Later.
Hey,
All
let
right,
me share what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Show me, brother.
Am I not sharing? Yeah.
Oh, hold on. No, I'm sorry. I got a boop, boop, boop. Here we go. And that's the stage. Whoa, wait. Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, that is a classified scale asp that I'm printing. I got the base done. It's still sitting on the printer though, on the resin printer, and then I got to do the tires yet, and it will be all complete.
Nice, dude. That looks fantastic.
Yeah. So I joined Mark II Designs Patreon, and he has this. He's going to do a Fang 2. He's working on a shark. I think a 2-seater shark. He has a Fang Conquest X30. So and his stuff is really good. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, dude, that is there is a voice. Actually, I'm wearing the Stevie Z shirt right now. Of the asp, which is the instant I got it, it was like one of my favorite ones. Matt from MOS Mind says you just got that big honkin' resin printer recently, right? It is.
Yeah, here's a tease of what I am also printing.
Ooh, what do we got there?
It's all I'm going to show right now.
Okay.
Most of it's done, but this is what I'm teasing.
So give us a hint. Does that go in the front, the back? What do we got?
It goes on the back.
Okay. I'm fucking clueless. But
it's a Joe vehicle. It's a Joe vehicle.
Hold on. Let me put my glasses on. What do we got? Huh.
I gotta clean it up. It's got some Yep.
Big Red says that looks like a runner.
Yeah, GI Dave called it.
What did he say? A shark?
It's the vein. Yeah, it's the back vein.
Oh, okay.
Shark.
Damn. Fuck, that's amazing. Dude, I am so stoked for that. I bet it's going to look fucking great.
I hope so.
Right. Well, I mean, dude, listen, I've never seen a bad thing that you've printed so far. I know everything that you sent me was fucking amazing, for sure. Yeah, look at that Sky Striker. That was gorgeous. Yeah, don't forget, I talked about it earlier. On LP's Midweek Mayhem. They had Ace from Ramen Toys was on, and he is making a F-14 that is going to be 2 as accurate. So what he was talking about is that there's a few of them that are out there, but they're not accurate, meaning like if they did it in a quote unquote 1/12 scale, it wasn't right. Certain parts were smaller, like it wasn't proportioned in a way to kind of keep it, to whatever criteria that whoever they're trying to sell it to or whatever. And he's doing it. It's going to be 47 3/4 inches long.
Depending on the price, I mean, I have absolutely no freaking room for it. But depending on the price, I might get it. I have 2 favorite jets, and one is the A-10. The A-10 will always be my favorite jet of all time, military jet. But there's something about a Tomcat that just And I mean, I love the Top Gun movies, so
Yes.
that's probably where that comes from.
No, I was a big fan of the Top Gun movies too, for sure. Iceman. I remember thinking as a kid that Iceman was the coolest fucking nickname of all time. I remember
Right?
thinking that was like Maverick sounded cool, but it wasn't anywhere near as cool as Iceman. I mean, holy hell!
It's funny because my friends and I, we played Gamma World, which is a role playing game, and my guy's name was Goose. I don't know why. Like, of all the characters I could have named him, I named him Goose.
I know. That is fucking hysterical. It sounds a lot like that. You know, I never really put two and two together, but there is my brother Goose from Initial Goose Creations. He does on Thursdays. He does the show with Lucida over as part of the FFC, the Figure Fight Club. Which none of those, you don't see any of those boys in the chat because they're actually on right now too. They're doing Plastic Journey over there on their channel, which is nice. So listen, I'm fucking ecstatic that LP came through. I am blessed with incredible guests. CG, I always like it when you make yourself available and come on here. You're such a big help. But I just wanted to shout all those guys out. I have like Animus Levels had said in the timeline yesterday. He was, when I did the promotional shot for tonight, he was like, "Oh man, you're in the club now. You're on Destro's My Spirit Animal. You got Laser Pants coming on," and I'm just lucky, man. I've always been lucky in life, and this is no different. I'm blessed with all my brothers from the timeline, and so just to kind of throw it out there. I know I might have told a couple of you real quick, but so tomorrow night we have Yojo Collectibles coming on. Now he is on Facebook and Instagram, and he is a prolific toy photographer. And what I mean by that is, Homeboy sometimes puts out 3 amazing photos in a day. And this is every motherfucking day. And he puts so many out that maybe it's possible that there's been, reposted one that I don't know, but they're all so good. I mean, we're talking about up close shots with 2 figures, forced perspective stuff, just amazing. So I cannot wait to have him on and talk to him about his GI journey and everything. And then, so it's actually going to be 3 guests in a row for toy photography. So we have Yojo Collectibles coming on tomorrow. The following week, I have, Sneaky Figures from over on Instagram. Great guy. I saw him. He was on Taking the Shot with Lucida and Goose on their show. Taking the Shot. I think that's it. That's Thursdays. I saw him on there, and I was like, oh, he's awesome. I have to get him on it. So I think he's going to be an amazing guest. And then the following week, it's going to be a Sunday night show. I am having the Action Shot God, Nate Mylar, in studio to talk about how are you so awesome, bro?
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I am fucking excited about that. Now, listen, I have been excited about everybody that's come on, right? Even like G.I. Dave, I was thrilled when he came on. We had the things, CG, even when just you and I did it way back in the day. Were you my first guest? You were my first guest, were you?
No.
Actually, that might have been Conrad.
I think it was Conrad was first.
And then I think you were second, right? Had to be.
Yeah, I was in there. Yeah.
But so I've been excited for all of them. But there's something about it's funny because Stevie, I've told him this before. I was like, dude, obviously, Matt Cohen, Shooting the Galaxy, who works for Hasbro, is amazing. Actually, let me tell everybody a funny story since there's still a few of you here. When I first started on Twitter, and I was getting into looking at people who were doing photography, and I saw this one guy. He had I don't remember what the shots were. There was a couple of G.I. Joe, but then in the comments, he had posted a bunch of other stuff, and I was like, man, look at this shit. What the fuck? This is the best toy photography I've ever seen. And I wound up DMing him and was like, dude, your stuff is amazing. I'm really digging it. If you don't mind, I might hit you up with some questions. And he was very much like, oh, thank you so much, bro. Please, if you have any questions, hit me up. He's like, I'm not on Twitter as much as I would like to be, but I will get to it eventually, and I will help you with anything you want, which I thought was amazing. And then I think the very next time I talked to him was, I don't remember what I asked him, but it was brief. We went on for a minute, and then I was like, I was like, hey man, nothing for nothing, but you should be the guy who takes the pictures for fucking Hasbro. Like, you should be taking the pictures for G.I. Joe, man. You should. And he was like, very, very politely, he was like, well, I am the guy. Because I didn't know. I had talked to him a handful of times, and finally I was like, bro, you should be the guy that takes the pictures for Hasbro. And he was just like, well, I am. It's like, oh my God. I never felt like more of a boob, but I was like, well, the only thing I could think of to say is, well, that makes sense, because your shit is amazing. So I always revered him as amazing. And, and obviously, the practical effects that Mate Mylar does, the way, like, did you see the last one with the spirit overhead? Did you see the behind the scenes, how he took that? It was fucking sideways, bro. What? Like, holy hell, what are we talking about here? So anyway, and I have to say, also very generous and gracious is Mate Mylar, in a sense that I hit him up for, asked a few questions, very giving with his time. But also, if you look on his page, it's all his stuff. He doesn't really mention anybody else, which is fine. I love how he does it. But, he broke that mold and took a couple shots of Beachhead that were just incredible, and was like, hey, Destro Designs, I heard you like Beachhead. So I thought that was very thoughtful, and it was unbelievably encouraging, because this was still very much when, I was building things up. And, I don't even know if I had started the podcast yet at that point. So, you don't really know, where you stand until you start doing things like that, really. But I just remember seeing that, and I was like, holy hell, is he, it's one of those things where, like, I see that's my name, but I'm like turning around, like, is he talking to me? Do I like what? Yeah, of course I like Beachhead, dude. Holy shit. And the picture was awesome. So anyways, when I had reached out to him, now this is something I'm hope to have done when he comes on, right? So what I reached out to him with a DM, and I was like, brother, I'm so touched by this. I would like to make you a frame for this photograph. And I'm going to make myself one. I'll put it up in the studio, but I want to make one for you, print it out, and send you the thing. So I was like, with your permission, I'm going to take a screenshot and print it out. And he was like, oh, I'll do you one better. I'll send you the 1080p HD file. And I was like, fuck yes. So he sent me the picture that he posted, and then there was 2 other variants of it that I also have. So I'm going to make myself a big one to put all 3 of them up there. I just was, it's things like that I was incredibly touched by, like Matt always sending me stuff, the first runs of things for me to get my hands on first. That makes me feel special. Opening up something from Chris from Sis3D Arsenal, very thoughtful, made me this, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't up on his website, I don't believe. Made that just for me. That makes me sad. Oh, and these too. Where'd they go? The Destro, I usually have them out. Here's this one and this one, right? Like, Chris made these. Like, I'm ecstatic, So stuff like that, it's really, really means a lot. It's, that means people were listening. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, oh, hey, I wanted to give you something, so here's the thing. Now, I do want to ask Chaz, though, because if he made this so perfect that if you look at that, like, how much of an awesome companion is that? You know what I mean? Like, totally good. I mean, the sign that you made me, brother, is undefeated. Like, I think you remember how I sounded when I first got that thing. I was like, my head was exploding with how awesome the color was, the sizing of it, and then and so that's why I mentioned, because it was incredibly thoughtful. So CG saw that what I was doing in my review videos, or I was taking pictures and stuff, I had a little, and I shit you not, a white pool noodle that I used to stencil to spray paint Destro Designs on, and I had it with blue painter's tape rolled up in the back, boop, up on the up on my panel, and that's how I was taking my photos. And CG was like, "No, that's not the one."
Yeah, I had to change that.
That's please let me fix this for you.
I am working on something for GI Dave now too.
Nice.
In that same regard, yeah.
Fuck yeah, he'll be happy with it. Yeah, GI Dave working on a bunch of cool shit. Really, really appreciate it. Oh, and I would have to mention too, also, our boy, I only touched on it real quick. Our brother from Murphy's Innovative. So what he said, he sent me this, and I was like, bro, this is awesome. And I believe he said he made it. It was part of a Serpentor set that he made for somebody. I don't remember exact, but this is one of one, right? So it's like, boom, I love it. And again, I have gas cans from Sys 3D Arsenal, but these are just like something cool to just kind of have in the background, and they're supposed to be water jugs. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm interested. So, back to the toy photography, I'm having the guy that I regard as the best on, and he has been so gracious with me that it's like I think I was saying it to Conrad earlier. I was like, when I talk to that guy, it almost sounds like he's the fan of me, and that makes me feel nuts because what I'm not, sure, I take a okay photo. My thing is I have a bunch of stuff from Matt and Chris, and then like 60 figures in there. So it's not that I'm doing great photography. I'm just making a ridiculous scene. You know what I mean? And that's what I think covers up. I do want to get a camera to kind of step that up, and I do want to also really get better at just making smaller shots, right? Like I feel like if I take my time and set up just like 2 figures real close and just find, and I've been saying this for a while, and I've gotten a little bit better at it, but I have filled my space down here to such a degree that like I can't set up for big photos no more. Like I have I think it's 4 foot by 5 foot piece of foam that is like a ground. It's painted gray, so it could be like concrete or like a city street, and I could put dirt on it if I need it to be dirt. But like I have nowhere in the studio to put that up. Like I'm in the middle right here, and all of my shelving and everything is like completely and totally fucking filled with shit. So it'd be almost impossible for me to set that up here. As I've been saying, with my lack of time, what I want to do is out in the shop out back, I have 2 4x8 shop tables, one of which is littered with stuff for dioramas and everything. Once I can spend, a half a day out there, I can get that all set up. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wind up doing big dios out back and, small, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, figure shots in here for sure. But yeah, I'm very, very thankful that Mate is taking the time to come in. I would reach out to Matt from Shooting the Galaxy, and he was so nice that I bet he would love to come on. But I know working for Hasbro, I don't think he can just do willy-nilly interviews.
He might not be able to talk about a lot of stuff,
or come on at all. I don't want to name a name, but there's somebody else that doesn't work for Hasbro but has in it something. And I asked that person to come on the podcast, and there's something with that where he's like, I can't really just like hop on with anybody. He's like, I would love to, but he's like, unfortunately right now, until that contract is up, then, whatever. And that, well, I wouldn't fuck that up either. So Matt from MOS Mind says, I've seriously considered getting a shipping container and running power to it just to be a photo dio area. Brother, it's funny that you say that, because on the back side of my property is there is a pool place where they sell pools and jacuzzis and shit, and they have a bunch of Connex boxes out there, right, which are the shipping containers. And I actually went over there and said to the guy, I was like, dude, because I need more space for other shit, right? I have material, like all kinds of stuff. And I was like, dude, I've seen there's a handful of those Connex boxes back there. Are you using all of those? And he was like, yeah, we're deep storage, a bunch of stuff that we bought, panic bought during COVID because the prices were going up. And he's like, we just bought a bunch of stuff to have in stock. And he's like, it's back there. I was like, all right, because if one of them was empty, I would consider, purchasing it from you and then just literally having them and their forklifts move it over onto my property and then doing the same thing, like you said. even if I just ran a little electricity out there. So, and you can buy those things that are relatively cheap nowadays. But dude, listen, that's the dream. You are barking up my alley on that one. Secret Joe room, right? We'll bury it, and we'll make bunker man cave. Or Cecil got the idea. G.I. Dave says, I've seriously considered digging and making a simple 4-square underground on the cheap, and it's all you need, an excavator at first. I mean, dude, listen, if I ever win a lottery, the first thing I'm doing is building something off-grid sustainable without question, right? There's a joke that I heard somebody say, and I thought it was pretty funny. They're like, oh yeah, people that doomsday preppers, all you're doing is getting shit ready for somebody with more guns.
Oh, he froze up again.
Hear me? Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Nice.
you froze up one other time too.
Really? Let's see.
When the LP was on, you froze up.
Nice. Let me see if I'm on I am on my Wi-Fi, and that might be why. Usually I do it with my signal. I have Verizon, and it's like undefeated signal. I have good shit just about everywhere. It actually works better than my Wi-Fi sometimes in the house.
Brother, I have to check out. I am beat. It's been a hell of a week because we're short-staffed at work, and we're covering all over the place. So I know Dave wants to hop on if you're still going to keep going, but I can tag you in.
I don't think I have. I don't think I can send a link, but no, I have another show tomorrow night, so I'm actually going to check out too for sure. I'm gonna wrap this up as well. So, real quick for everybody. Dave, I'm sorry, brother. I have a whole other show tomorrow night, so I think it would be best if I went and I got some fucking sleep. But let's see. So, I am Destro Designs and Viper Den Studios. You can find me on all 4 of the big social accounts. That is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. I actually have an account over there now. I've covered my Destro Designs, and then I added Viper Den Studios. Also, I'll get to that in one quick second. So you can Mondays, you can find me over at Destro is my spirit animal. Mark has been so gracious having me on so often. Actually, and this Monday is going to be R.A. Rain and myself discussing what a new G.I. Joe movie would look like. Like, what is going to be, like, if we all wanted good G.I. Joe movies, what is that? And so we all got a few ideas, and we're all gonna join in on that. I think it's gonna be pretty fucking cool. Tuesdays, I try to get over to Figure Fight Club open mic night. I've missed 3 weeks in a row. 2 weeks was I was busy and I didn't really have pickups to show off. But this week I was all about it. And then when the time came, I was exhausted. I just couldn't do it anymore. And my daughter, one of my daughters is actually awake, and I went and laid down with her, and I fucking fell asleep. So that's on Tuesdays. Trying to work something out to get another episode of the Power Hour with Jay Antonio. My dude lost his voice last week doing some karaoke.
Oh, another freeze up.
All right, there we go. All right, try to wrap this up quick. So yeah, trying to get another episode of him, but homeboy lost his voice, so we'll squeeze that in again sometime soon. Usually live from Viper Den Studios. The main show is usually Saturday nights. This week we were lucky. LP does a show at the same time on Saturdays. He was nice enough to do this with me on Friday, and that's that. So absolutely amazing that he came on. I'm so happy about it again. I have been dropping articles for Serpentor's Lair on Tuesdays and Fridays, and that I've got. Let's see, where am I? I just did my second part of 1985, and I've got a few ideas. I'm going to kind of keep escalating up through the years. And now, just something else, real quick. I just want to mention there are big things coming from Destro Designs. I have been very incrementally doing very small things, building up to something that is going to be big. CG, I will be speaking to you about this offline. It's a few things. I think I may have mentioned it to you like 2 weeks ago in passing, but I've actually made some moves on it. So, I'll hit you up tomorrow and we can chat about that. Just so you're in the know. I have something I'd like you to be a part of in that regard, and we'll see what it is. But destrodesigns.com is coming very, very soon. Let me just leave it at that for now. What happens over there is going to be a bunch of different things. But I just want to get a couple more things squared away, get it all set up. And part of that, brother, was I might need some help getting that set up because I don't fucking have a clue.
Okay.
So if there's a way we can work something out, I would love to have you help me build that up there. I've got a couple good ideas. I think that'd be good for the Joe community, and it would be a good place for everybody. One of the I will tease one of the ideas. So one of the things that's going to come in from there is going to be a swap shop. And what I mean by that is it's going to be a place where, G.I. Dave had an idea. This was something I had. He talked about it not that long ago in one of the conversations. And it's kind of like a place where people can trade G.I. Joes or sell G.I. Joes with confidence, right? Meaning you can go in and you can say, yeah, you know what? I went through my collection. I've got these 5 figures that I'm willing to trade. And then here's my list of things that I'm looking for. Make me an offer. And then people can look and say, oh, he's got the thing. And I have the thing he's looking for. Reach out, make an offer. And then that way everybody will be, it's mostly going to be us, right? If we've been interacting with you on Twitter and all this other stuff, then it's going to be a given. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's going to be one of many things that are going to be involved with destrodesigns.com. So just a little tease for that there. But again, Destro Designs by Brand Studios, you can find me on all the socials and all the different places. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Joe Collectibles is coming in. It's going to be he's very G.I. Joe centric. So there's going to be a ton of Joe talk, a ton of toy photography talk. I think he does a little 3D printing too. So we're going to get into that. And that is that. So I appreciate CG you coming and spending the time again. Very, very nice of you to give up your time. As I said to LP in the beginning, time is the most important commodity that we have. And Pop, I'm going to be reaching out to you about that too, because with your links and all of that stuff, I have a way that I would like to further promote what you do on the timeline on that website as well. So I will be reaching out to you for sure. But yeah, so Joe Collectibles coming in tomorrow. That's going to be a great discussion. And further on down the line, like I said, Sneaky Figures the week after, and then Action Shot Mate Mylar. Those are the next couple of weeks. Lots of toy photography talk. So hope you all are in for it. But also, talking about them G.I. Joes and what leads these people to get there with it. So CG, we can find you, CG Horror on X, correct?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's what's up. And stay tuned for all of the, CG, I know we've kind of talked about this online, but man, I feel like with the 3D printing stuff and your insight into G.I. Joes, I'm looking forward to see what you might maybe wind up doing in the future. I think there's a lot for you there. So we'll all keep our eyes peeled.
We'll see. Maybe I've been toying with the idea of starting my own channel up again and putting videos out and stuff. So we'll see.
I think it would be great, my brother. And the thinking about it, for me, I remember it always sounded very much like overwhelming to think about until I just fucking sat down in front of the thing and went live one day. And I think you like, I've seen you take pictures. You have the eye, not just for toy photography, but I'm sure you would make a great video talking about the stuff you're 3D printing, the reason you're making them, how it fits in with the lore, and your G.I. Joe knowledge is unmatched with just like a few other people in the community. So I feel like anything that you do in that endeavor would be great, and I'd be happy as fuck to promote the shit out of it. So fuck yeah, I love it. So yeah, thank you, my brother, for coming in. Thank you all in the chat. I know we're down to about 15 people, and as predicted, this was my most watched live show. I don't think I've ever gone above 30. And we were up to 50 at one point. So,
nice.
Yeah. This is why I made a little bit of a push. I really wanted to talk about the MAGs, the MOS armament gear system, because it's going to be the most eyes that are going to be on this podcast. I figured as much. When LP came on, Destro is my spirit animal. It was our most watched Destro is my spirit animal live by like a lot. Like usually those get 1,500 to 2,000 views. When LP came on, I think it was like 5,000 views the next morning. I don't know what it's at now. I haven't looked, but I know
LP's got a good following, and
he does.
They're very knowledgeable in what they talk about. I enjoy listening to him, and especially when he has Bobby on, because Bobby likes the Rib Us Joe fans. So it's fun.
Definitely. I don't mind. I would love to get on a show with him. Believe me, if you knew how me and my lifelong friends talk to each other, that's nothing. We are. If you heard us, from standing outside, you would think that you're like, those guys are friends. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking brutal. But it's just, that's how we've always been. That's how we express our love for each other is through trashing each other.
Man, that's just Gen X, man. If we're not insulting somebody, we're not a friend with them. We insult our friends and call them all kinds of names and pick, but it's all out of love.
It is. I remember at a dinner one night, a friend of mine had a new girlfriend that us guys had gotten away from the table and went up to the bar. And so the ladies were sitting at the table, and there was one of the girls was a new girlfriend to one of my friends. This is the first time that she had come and hung out with all of us. We actually did it so she could meet all of us and stuff like that. They had gotten pretty serious. And as soon as we all went up to the bar, so there was one guy that got the brunt of the ribbing in that time, and she was like, "Are they friends with that guy?" and one of my friend's wives was like, "Oh no, that's how you know they'll like you. If one of them says something that almost hurts your feelings, they wouldn't do that unless they loved you." So, and then I remember later on, she did something. She came back with like a drink with like an umbrella in it or something, and somebody made a joke about it, and she smiled and was like, "All right, I'm in." And we were like, "That's it. You got it for sure." So yeah, no, I would be happy to jump on with him. Matter of fact, when LP was on with Mark and I, Bobby was invited, but he had a hockey game. So I think he does hockey with his son. But that would have been cool. I'd love to. I think he's very talented.
Definitely.
Like without a doubt, and being a person who continuously gambles on himself and the work that he does, I love that he did what he did. Right, he went out on his own. I love that he did a jack move and got the name Action Force out from underneath some bozos not doing their job. Dude, that is fucking hysterical. I love it to death. It's arguably one of my favorite stories. I mean, there's a lot of people who maybe have a particular opinion about him, and that's fine. I mean, not everybody is everybody's cup of tea.
Hey, I met him in person at ZolaCon a couple years ago. Super nice guy.
Right. And that's like everybody that I know that's ever met him has said exactly that. They were like, "Oh yeah, no, he had a table at this or whatever." I bought, one of his figures. What I also like too, that I heard somebody was saying this, they were like, he has some of his older rare Action Force figures that he still has in stock. And when he goes to shows, he doesn't sell them for the retail price. They're marked up. Like, these are rare now. If you went on eBay to buy this, it would be $100. So he sells it for $85. And I love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you gotta, the price is what the market will bear. And if everybody is, paying X amount of dollars, there's no reason you should be giving shit away like that. Simply for, whatever. And I think it's interesting too, that like what he's doing with the toy, the new line, the black. I'm very interested in seeing what goes on there. I think it's like a cool twist on everything else that's going on out there. And I don't know, I feel like it's nifty. And again, there is that thing where, he bet on himself, and that's where it's at. Oh, Pop Cold Frenzy says he got Action Force and Steel Brigade.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fucking funny. What I like too is that he throws Hasbro under the bus at any chance he gets, even for things like when somebody was in one of the streams that he was doing with LP, or maybe it was Mark, I don't know, but somebody was talking about extra hands, and he was like, this is the most baffling thing to me. And as
Hasbro customers, you should understand that it's the biggest fuck you in the world to you because it costs them pennies to put the hands in there, like legitimately pennies. And instead of giving you hands that work or don't work, and that struck a chord with me because you've heard me say before, they'll give the trigger finger to a figure, right? And the trigger finger will be on his left hand only. And then they'll have a bunch of shit right here on the figure, so he can't shoulder it. It's
Right.
like this. You know what I mean? It like because of this stuff. So why wouldn't you put the trigger finger over here and then the shoulder that doesn't have all the strapping or all the different, you know, grades or whatever the hell, and you could put it, because if a figure comes with a rifle and you can't shoulder it perfectly, they fucked up. And whether the rifle's not the right size, whether they have too much shit right here, the trigger finger's in the wrong hand, I don't know. You should be getting 2 trigger fingers, 2 fists, and then these, whatever we call them. What do we call these? The C hands or something like that, and pointers. Why can't we get a pointer? Like I mean, all right, maybe not everybody gets a pointer, but we got Flint, Duke, Beachhead, anybody in a position of leadership should have the pointer finger, right? I feel like it's all action hands. Thank you. It's almost like a necessity for shit like that. So, you know, I am terrible at wrapping things up. Here I was, I said the whole thing.
Dude, I gotta piss so bad right now.
No, that's it. We're out of here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Make sure you join me again tomorrow. And as I was trying to say, CG, time is our biggest commodity. So thank you so much for giving me yours. Same to everybody in the chat. I will see everybody in the Twitter streets tomorrow. Everybody that came, if you're still here and you were new to the channel, I love that you came because LP was in. Hopefully you subscribe. Hopefully you stick around and come back tomorrow to talk more. Joe, yeah, CG, I do want to talk to you about that thing. So I will reach out to you sometime tomorrow. Maybe we can actually get a phone call and we can just go back and forth. So I'll reach out. Yeah, awesome. We'll reach out. We'll schedule a time. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it. CG, one more time. Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you tomorrow, my friend. Good night, y'all.
See you, everybody.
Later.